It's time now to sit back and enjoy the action. It's our first commentary of the day. It's Motherwell against Rangers, live from Fir Park with Sam Courts, Kenny Miller and Liam McLeod.
Kenny, thank you. Good afternoon from Fir Park. Slight breeze in the air. It's a bit cloudy. The pitch is looking great though. The rain, which came down a couple of hours ago, has eased off completely as well for now. As the two sets of players finish the handshakes, the two captains down there flanking the match officials, Liam Kelly and James Tavernier, and the referee making his third visit to Fir Park this afternoon for this season is Nick Walsh. Liam Kelly, former Rangers goalkeeper, of course, though he didn't get his opportunity in the first team, as the two respective assistants go and check the nettings at either end in the goal frames. The third meeting of these two this season. Rangers have won both so far. The first was here in mid-October. Goals from Tillman and Lundstrom helped Rangers to a 2-1 win. McKinstry pulled one back with 13 to play, but Motherwell couldn't find an equaliser in a game that came immediately off the back of Rangers' record home defeat at the hands of Liverpool in the Champions League. They met again at the end of December at Ibrox. Rangers won 3-0 thanks to goals from Morelos, Goldson and Tillman. There was an en masse protest from the Rangers supporters with banners looking for change at boardroom level, and the Motherwell fans are also protesting over in the east stand on the far side to the far right. It's normally a pretty boisterous Motherwell contingent. They're not coming in until after the first 15 minutes of the game because they don't agree with some of the way that they've been handled by the police, I think, the authorities, and they will make their way into the stadium 15 minutes in. Rangers are going to kick this game off, the first of the weekend, the last before the international break, in the blue shirts, white shorts, black socks with the red tops, shooting right to left as we watch from the main stand towards the Davy Cooper stand, who of course starred for both these clubs. Motherwell in the claret and amber shooting towards the giant south stand, which is full of away fans as it's played out to that right hand side for Todd Cantwell. There is no Barisic and no Raskan for Rangers this afternoon as Jack plays it out to Ridvan Yilmaz, who makes his first start for the club since the 4-1 win over Aberdeen under Giovanni van Bronckhorst away back at the tail end of October, as Connor Goldson picks the ball up just to the right of the centre circle. And of course Rangers were very impressive in their win over Hibernian in their last league game, as Ben Davis looks for Yilmaz on the left hand side of the box, but it sails harmlessly behind for the goal kick. And Stuart Kettlewell has made quite the impression as Motherwell manager. A couple of games as interim to ride his luck a little bit before Callum Slattery's spectacular free kick late in the day salvaged a point at Kilmarnock, but he's been very happy with what he's seen from his players, and what a turnaround since the dying days of the Stevie Hamill era. So both managers unbeaten in league business, and with this long record that Rangers hold over Motherwell in league games, 54 league games without defeat against them, Motherwell and Stuart Kettlewell know they've got an opportunity to right more than 2 decades of wrongs as Alan McGregor clears with Van Veen in close attendance to the edge of his box. It bobbles around the midfield, and Sean Goss with a cushion header to his right to this near side for Max Johnston, who's been excellent since returning on loan from Cove Rangers, as Cantwell picks up and moves it left to right of the centre circle for Tavernier in the Motherwell half, and back to Lundstrom just inside the centre circle, where he pokes it out to Tavernier level with the edge of the centre circle on the right hand side. Infield for Kent, stabbing it forward there to Sakala. His pass back is cut out, but it breaks kindly for Rangers to Jack. Outside of the boot, flicks it to Ridvan Yilmaz on this near side, bends the ball, and it's too close to Liam Kelly, who has his gloves on it, and he'll want the Scotland #1 shirt in the game against Cyprus, which is next Saturday afternoon as well. Kenny Miller, you'll want to impress today.
Yeah, absolutely will. You know, he's been served his apprenticeship in the Scotland squad, been in so many squads, played his part. He's #1, he's the captain at Motherwell. He'll be looking to do that. He'll be looking for I'm sure he'll have a busy afternoon today, so he'll have the opportunity to showcase all his abilities. Xander
Clark and Angus Gunn, the other two goalies in the squad for the opening double-header against the Cypriots and Spain. There will be a throw in here for Motherwell midway inside the Rangers half. Max Johnston takes it, bowls it back to McGinn. Johnston's another in international duties with the Scotland under-21s in the week. He might be offside here as he managed to play himself on. He plays it across for Van Veen, who taps it home. There's no flag right now, and Kevin Van Veen, Motherwell's Mr. Goals, has scored again early on, less than 3 minutes in at Fir Park. Johnston played the offside trap beautifully across across the face for Van Veen, who stabs it home with the outside of his boot. It's his 18th of the season, and Motherwell are in the box set right now. An opportunity to end 2 decades of waiting for a win over Rangers. It's Motherwell 1, Rangers 0. Tam Courts.
Exactly like we spoke about pre-match there. I think it was really important that Motherwell showed composure at the start. They looked calm, they looked very measured in their play, and I think it was probably an intentional tactic at the start of the game to try and release Max Johnson behind the Rangers fullback. And at the first opportunity, that's what's transpired, and it's created a guilt-edged chance for Kevin Van Veen, and he doesn't reject those types of opportunities with a ruthless finish.
Right. Well, they're checking it, obviously. Everything goes to the VAR. We hear it is extremely tight, and the referee, Nick Walsh, is just holding off Rangers taking centre here. The VAR this afternoon's Andrew Dallas. Motherwell, as it stands, have the opening goal of the game. Are they about to fall victim to the video assistant? Let's just wait and see. And O'Kerdine Idsan down there's had a chance to have a look at a replay. This might take... No, he's pointing to the centre spot. The goal stands. And Kevin Van Veen has given Motherwell the lead against Rangers. A sensational start for Kettlewell's men. Kerridine did have a chance to have a look at it. It's extremely tight, Kerridine.
Extremely tight, but it was Connor Goldson's, I think, left ankle where the line was being drawn, and Max Johnson was just about the right side of that line, hence the goal stands.
No, Kenny Miller. Rangers being asked a question at Fir Park.
Yeah, they are. I mean, again, it's a brilliant start for Motherwell, and it was a really, really good created goal. I think it was Slarry played the pass over for Johnson, who finds himself in behind Ridvan Yilmaz, and you know what? He gets him, he doesn't panic, picks Kevin Van Veen out, and like Tam says, he doesn't turn down these types of opportunities. Really good goal for Motherwell.
It's yet another example of Rangers conceding the first goal in a game this season. It's happened time and time again, and even under Michael Beale, they've had the wherewithal to turn these games round since he took over. But it was a situation that they were faced with many times last season as well, and if they're going to win titles, Kenny, it's something they need to eradicate. Not that Motherwell are caring a jot about that right now.
No, it is. It has been a trait of their game. As much as they've been in really good form and their consistency, their results have been excellent, they do concede goals, this Rangers team, you know, and that's been highlighted early in this game at Motherwell. I mean, you want to actually really put that back line under a bit of pressure, and the fact that Yilmaz is in the team now, it's an unfamiliar left side of the defence, you know, so look, if Motherwell have worked on that, it's an area that they could target. Fair play to Stuart Kettlewell and his team, because it was a really well constructed goal.
The 24th time in their 47th game of the season where they've lost the first goal. It's an incredible record as it comes back to Alan McGregor. But Kevin Van Veen taking his tally up to 18. I think the next best in the Motherwell squad is 4. As that comes to Goldson. They really have been reliant on their number 9, but if you're going to rely on someone for goals, it'd be as well be your number 9. As Jack collects just inside his own half. So Motherwell ahead. As it comes back to Jack from Sakala, who's in the Zambia squad for their upcoming African Cup of Nations qualifiers. It's now with Ben Davis just to the left of the centre circle, rolls it out to Jack on this near side, pokes it forward for Kent, trying to free himself of Goss, rolls it to the overlapping Yilmaz, gets his cross in again, it's too close to Liam Kelly, who holds on to it. Comfortable take, and he'll be delighted with that. He's had a couple of comfortable takes from Yilmaz crosses in these early stages of the game. 7th minute of it, Motherwell leading 1-0.
And early in this game, Liam, already, there's something again that stands out for me in this Rangers team, that Ryan Jack pulls into that kind of little half full-back position, and you've got Yilmaz, Sakala and Kent all coming towards the ball, nobody threatening behind. Sakala's there to do that, he's got pace, but if Sakala's coming off, Ryan Kent's in a position where he should be making that run beyond his striker. That's how you pull teams apart, it's how you disrupt backlines. It's something that Rangers were excellent at Easter Road the other night, but we've not seen enough of it this season with this Rangers team.
Went behind in that game as well, didn't they? As Jack picks up midway inside his own half, just moving up towards halfway. Into the Motherwell half he goes, slips it to Cantwell to his right, out to Tavernier. Tavernier on the right-hand side, it's a long ball into the box, it's poor though, it was over the crossbar. And Liam Kelly will be delighted if those kind of crosses are coming in from the right and from the left all afternoon today. Motherwell leading this game by 1-0. It'll be quite the statement by Stuart Kettlewell if his team can get over the line today. There's a heck of a long way to go. Rangers have only failed to score in one domestic game this season. It was the Derby demolition at Celtic Park back in the autumn. as Kelly prepares to take this goal kick. Former Rangers trainee. And it's right-footed from Kelly into the Motherwell half. Goes flying over the head of Slattery and Lundstrom. And Ben Davies smashes it forward with the left foot. Underneath it is Callum Butcher. He's been a revelation for Motherwell. And this new team that they've had to cobble together since the winter transfer window. Slattery brings down Cantwell. He's the most booked player in the Premiership, Callum Slattery. Sean Goss beside him is not far behind, incidentally. 10 yellow cards for Slattery as he chipped away at Cantwell. Free kick Rangers, which is taken quickly. Jack finds Ridvan on this near side and he goes down the left-hand touchline, but too much on it for Sakala, and it goes behind for the goal kick. Tam Courts almost 9 minutes in, Motherwell leading Rangers by 1-0. They've surrendered a lot of the possession of Motherwell, but so far so good for them.
Yeah, and I really hope as part of the pre-match preparation they have actually looked at this as a scenario, because sometimes when you go ahead so early against Celtic and Rangers, the players can almost feel like, so what's next? The team now are at home, they've got Rangers on the back foot and probably feeling a little bit kind of sorry for themselves, and the key thing now for Motherwell is to try and press home that home advantage.
Kelly hits it long, flicked on by Spittle, goes straight through to Davis. Cantwell now to Goldson. Test the character again for this Rangers side. Plenty of that in the last few months. Past generally the League Cup final, their only defeat, as Lundstrom finds Cantwell on the far side. Short ball to Tavernier. He goes back to Goldson. Remember, this is a Motherwell team, even with their last couple of wins here, still the worst home record in the Premiership coming into this weekend. Only on goal difference now, though. So Lundstrom plays it out to the right for Tavernier. Knocks the ball into the box, booted away by Butcher into the Rangers half. And Goldson will get there ahead of Van Veen. The goal scorer goes back to Alan McGregor. He plays it short there to Davis. It's been a really settled back line for Rangers. They've had to make that change today. Borna Barisic back in his homeland with his wife, heavily pregnant, as Goldson squares it to Jack. Barisic, incidentally, also in the Croatia squad for their Euro 2024 qualifiers coming up over the next week and a half. Here's Antonio Colak, who isn't, over on the far side, finds Tavernier, level with 18, back to Cantwell, short ball to Kent, back to Cantwell again, level with the edge of the D of the Motherwell box, rolls it to Kent, Kent to Sakala, to Kent again, to Cantwell. His pass pushed forward, but it's cut out, and Dean Cornelius got in the way, and he's back on it wide on the left-hand side. Gets it past Cantwell, looking for an option in Claret and Amber, gets it in Van Veen, looks for the big switch for Johnston. Yilmaz is underneath it though. He gets his head onto it, and it will drop out for a Motherwell throw-in, which McGinn will leave for Johnston on the near side. 11 in, Motherwell 1, Rangers 0. That hasn't been a scoreline here since Boxing Day 2002. Come the final whistle, as Butcher goes back to his goalkeeper, just to the edge of his own box. They've won their last 2 matches here. Kettlewell's first 2 as Motherwell manager, against St Mirren and then against Hearts. 2 really good victories. Played excellently in the Hearts game in particular, and obviously went up to Dingwall and 2-0 victory last time out, as Goldson picks up at the edge of his box, rolls it forward to Cantwell. Out it comes to Tavernier. Square ball in field for Goldson, and now Davis. Jack at close quarters. Davis goes long, looking for Cantwell. He's got in behind briefly there, comes off his chest, but it's blocked by McGinn. Breaks for Kent. Now it's Ridvan Yilmaz, low ball across, cut out by Butcher, and out for a Rangers throw-in. Level with the Motherwell 6 on this main stand side.
That's the first time you see a Rangers player running beyond that front line, and you know what, it's not the ideal ball, it doesn't put them through and goal, but what it does, it makes Motherwell defend the situation. Rangers then pick the second ball up, because they've got a lot of players in that area. They got an opportunity to cross, good defending, and a good situation for Rangers. But it's the first time you've seen any kind of forward pass, forward movement for a Rangers player.
Well, Ridvan Yilmaz is asking for another ball. I'm not sure where the initial one went. It's going to be a Rangers throw-in eventually. Yilmaz bowls it back to Jack. Square ball into Lundstrom. And then back to Ben Davis over on this near side touchline in front of the Motherwell dugout. Short to Yilmaz, back to Davis. And now Kent. Sakala ahead of him. Ryan Kent will pop it through, but it's blocked by McGinn. And it breaks the way of Goss. And then out to this near side, where it's played forward by Slattery, straight through to Davis, though he was disappointed he didn't find a teammate there because he wasn't under too much pressure, Slattery, and it's encouraging. Rangers back onto them here. It's a clipped ball forward, too high for Sakala, and it goes out for the goal kick. Motherwell manager will be wanting better use of the ball when they have it. 13 minutes in only, they do have a 1-0 lead, but they'll want to see as much possession as possible, not offer Rangers any kind of encouragement.
Absolutely, and I think you've seen a few minutes ago when they countered on the left-hand side with Cornelius, he's actually got very good running power. He was able to actually outplay in the situation, come back inside, and then hit a diagonal onto Max Johnston again, which was actually a really nice counter-attacking opportunity, where conversely there, you've seen that they've kind of panicked a little bit under pressure, and these are the moments that I was talking about previously, where Rangers will feed off that and they'll start to naturally grow into the game. So it's really important that when Motherwell do get those counter-attacking opportunities, that they show bravery. They're actually capable of actually playing through the pressure and maximising those opportunities to counter onto Rangers quite quickly.
And Van Veen's so important to that. He needs to make himself available. He's not the player that's going to go and stretch and run beyond like the pass with Slattery there. He needs to be he needs to show, he needs to be a face for his teammates to get up the field.
There's Cantwell now, Lundstrom driving down the left in the Motherwell box, little back heel for Kent. Square ball infield to Cantwell, little ball forward to Lundstrom, back to Cantwell, looking for Lundstrom, breaks back to Cantwell, who goes down. Good challenge by Paul McGinn though. Now it's with Goss, slipping it forward, but again it's straight to a Rangers player, onto the chest of Tavernier. Now it's Jack to Sakala at the edge of the D. Little challenge there, brilliant from Slattery, he had to get that right, and he does. Away with it is Spittle, but it's a poor ball, looking for Van Veen. It's come all the way through to Alan McGregor, who bowls it forward, and it stays Motherwell 1, Rangers 0. That Motherwell fan protest, incidentally, they can't wait to get into their position in the stand over on the far side. They've missed a goal. 15 minutes have now been played, and now they make their way.
I think they actually did come in, Liam, on the goal. They came in to celebrate.
Chance for Rangers. Cantwell dances to the edge of the box, goes down, no free kick. Breaks to Cornelius, slips it forward to Kevin Van Veen on this near side, holding off Davis, and out it goes for a throw-in on this near side to Motherwell right on the halfway line, on the Motherwell right, as they try and attack the goal to the right. Motherwell leading by 1-0 here, and this time Johnston's going to leave the throw-in to McGinn.
And that's going to be Van Veen's job today. He needs to make himself available. Anytime Motherwell win the ball, he needs to get throw-ins, free kicks, get a hold of possession and allow the support and the good running power of Cornelius and Spittle and Slattery to get forward and support and try and build attacks. Johnston on the right, as we've seen with the goal.
The rain beginning to tumble down here in North Lanarkshire. Long ball out to the near side. It comes off Rid van Yilmaz's head and out for a throw-in again to Motherwell on this near side. Remember, we'll have all the 3 o'clock action to come later on Sportsound as well, including arguably the match of the day, Aberdeen against Hearts, live at bbc.co.uk/Sport Scotland from Pittodrie, as Furlong picks up for Motherwell wide on that left-hand side. Celtic, Hibs also, along with Dundee United, St Mirren, Kilmarnock, St Johnstone, Livingston, Ross County. We'll cover the matches across the Championship in Leagues 1 and 2 as well, as Goldson clears inside his own half out to that far side, where it's controlled by Dan Casey, and then he wins the throw-in as well over on the far side. It's good play by the big centre back. The wind begins to get up as well, making things slightly more tricky. Throw-in will be taken for Motherwell on the far side by James Furlong, and Nick Walsh encouraging the Motherwell player to get on with it. So we approach 17 minutes. Crossfield ball, the big switch. Johnston, he just lost sight of it there, and Yilmaz recovers in time just before him to boot it clear, and out for a throw-in on the near side to Motherwell, level with the Rangers 18. If you're Stuart Kettlewell, you've got to be absolutely delighted with us right now.
Absolutely, and this has been the first kind of spell of pressure that they've had, and this is where they want to have the ball. They won't want the possession in their own half. They want to get Rangers pinned into their own half, try and keep it a bit of the ball, try and keep the ball as far away from their goal as possible, and it looks like they're fancying that switch from left to right to Max Johnston on top of Yilmaz, fancying Johnson's chances to go and win the ball against Yilmaz.
Johnston over the throw-in, level with the Rangers penalty spot, gets it back from Slattery, tried to return it to him. Kent does enough to win it back for Rangers though. Sakala lays it back to Kent. He's in a central area just outside the D of his own box, and he plays it out to Tavernier on the right, and Tavernier stretching his legs up to halfway. It's an early ball looking for Sakala, and Kelly comes out and claims. Really good decisive goalkeeping by Liam Kelly, and it stays Motherwell 1, Rangers 0 on 18 minutes. It's with the Motherwell goalkeeper. Just I think the one game off this afternoon, a waterlogged pitch at Borough Briggs, Elgin against Stenhousemuir in League 2 is off. Dumbarton Albion Rovers passed an inspection earlier, the league leaders at home in that one at the Rock. That's in League 2. And there's 4 matches in the Championship after that draw at Gayfield last night between Arbroath and Morton, Accies Ayr, Partick Thistle Dundee, Queen's Park Inverness, Raithcove. And in League 1, the big games, Dunfermline FC Edinburgh, Queen of the South Falkirk, 8-point difference between those two. In the third tier, as Goldson rolls it out to Tavernier on the right, slips it forward along the grass, inside the box, Cantwell, out to the right for Colak, level with the penalty spot, back to Tavernier, square infield there to Goldson, back out to Tavernier wide on the right, up against Cornelius, back to Cantwell, level the edge of the D of the Motherwell box. It's all quite pedestrian from a Rangers point of view right now though, as they try and break through this claret and amber wall. It is Cantwell to Tavernier on the touchline. Now Jack, he's in behind, he's onside. Level with the 6, pulls it back for Colak. His effort blocked by Butcher and then cleared up into the air by Sean Goss. And underneath it's Goldson. That's the first time they've really managed to get Antonio Colak engaged in the game. Inside the penalty area, he kind of scuffed his effort. Wasn't ever really threatening Liam Kelly's goal as it was blocked by Callum Butcher. He's done well, Callum Butcher, Tam, hasn't he, since he's arrived here, and he says he wants his career to be now focused around playing as a centre-half as Colak is fouled in the far side.
Yeah, I think since he's been deployed at centre-back at Motherwell with the lad Casey, it looks like they've actually got a very good understanding, and they've given the team that really solid base of no nonsense, lots of experience, and really giving the team that solid foundation at a critical stage of the season.
Dan Casey, incidentally, was booked for that challenge, and Colak over on that right-hand side. Motherwell giving away the free kick to be taken by Tavernier. It's probably about 10 yards away from the right angle of the box, 6 yards from the far side touchline. Tavernier, hands on hips, waits to deliver. Can he deliver an equaliser for Rangers? So often, with assists or goals, he's come up with that. Into the box it comes, just evades Lundstrom, breaks to Goldson at the left-hand side of the box. Motherwell fans felt he used a hand, he's gone down on the near side, looking for a free kick, he's not getting one. Spittle trying to see that behind for the throw-in, didn't go over the line though, but he's done well to work a 1-2 with McGinn, and then Spittle eventually clears his lines. It didn't seem enough in that for a Rangers free kick on Goldson down on the near side, and Motherwell surviving that free kick from Tavernier as it's picked up by Cantwell in the centre circle. And out to Tavernier on the right-hand side. Infield for Ryan Jack. Jack has got Colak over on the right-hand touchline. Instead he goes back the way to Kent. Bidvan trying to stay onside down the near side. Breaks to Lundstrom, who was a scorer here last time. Brought down by Slattery right in the edge of the area. And Callum Slattery picks up his 11th booking of the Premiership season for the foul there on Lundstrom. He was on the stretch, and this is left-hand side of the penalty area and almost bang on the 18-yard line.
That's a good position this for James Tavernier. We've seen him score so many goals for here, and he can go either side. He can go far side, keeper side. He can put it over the wall into the near front post. It may just be a little bit close for the near post one, but it's a good situation for Rangers, and a definite foul and another booking for Callum Slattery.
Rangers haven't failed to score in a league game at Fir Park since September 2009. They're normally good for a goal. They've scored 33 in the last 12 visits here. Tavernier and Kent stand over the free kick. By the time it's taken, it's going to be from 19 yards. Goldson is there talking to his teammates who are conspiring. Liam Kelly sorting out the Motherwell wall, looking to protect this 1-0 lead that they have as we approach the end of the first quarter of this opening Premiership match of the day. Tavernier and Kent stand over it. It's Tavernier with the right, or will it be Kent with the left? Perhaps being used as the decoy. There's a big gap to the goalkeeper's right. Tavernier's left here.
It's where he put that one in Livingston a couple of weeks ago, Liam, right into that top corner, and you're right, that is a big space there. The ball being pushed back by Nick Walsh.
4-man wall. Here goes Tavernier. He's gone for that corner. He's found it as well. James Tavernier, so often the man for Rangers when they find themselves in a hole. He's dug them out yet again as we approach 20 23 minutes at Fir Park. They were behind for 20 of those, and it's Motherwell 1, Rangers 1. But Liam Kelly's going to be disappointed with that.
I think so, Liam. I think so. He looked like he was leaving it. He was trusting his wall, but it was a big space. And I don't even think it was James Tavernier's best effort. It just done enough to go over the wall. I mean, question marks, did the guy actually get through the wall, because it went into the goal low. But that's goal number 98 for James Tavernier. Absolutely incredible return. And again, it's Rangers' go-to man when they need him, for goals, for assists, and driving this team forward.
Yeah, it's his 15th goal of the season. As Kenny says, he's notching closer to treble figures, but should Liam Kelly be keeping that one out? It is a big gap he's left, Tam.
Yeah, I think I would probably rather credit James Tavernier again, showing real proper leadership, grabbing his team by the scruff of the neck and forcing them back into the game. But again, this game's now opened up and might actually give Motherwell a bit of a reprieve.
Oh, Van Veen almost managed to find Spittle in behind Ben Davis there. It's cut out, and Colak back doing a job at right back over there on the far side as Tavernier was in the challenge, and Furlong, there's no free kick, and Rangers have it back here with Jack. And he rolls it back low to his goalkeeper. McGregor finds Davis, and he sprays it out to Yilmaz on this near side, and infield to Cantwell. Here is Lundstrom. Michael Beale will be really happy with that, because Rangers had struggled to test Liam Kelly, but they've managed to find an equaliser just as we went into the second quarter of this game. And Tavernier plays it back to Goldson. The Van Veen goal meant that this fact would increase anyway, but Rangers now, it's been 103 games since they were involved in a goalless draw, which is incredible. I mean, that goes back to the Europa League playoff against Aliskert in Armenia in August 21, as Yilmaz bends the ball into the box, and it's over the bar again. He's not got his eye in yet, the Turk, and that sails over for a goal kick for Motherwell. One apiece then, back on level terms here at Fir Park.
Yeah, and again, he's perfectly poised now. And Ridvan Yilmaz again just finding his feet. He'll be a little bit rusty, and that could be expected after a long time out. Good bit of skill initially to nutmeg Johnson. He just got his cross wrong. Look at he picked Colak out round about that back post area. Just before that though, just after the goal, Motherwell had a counter. You seen Colak busting a gut to be back there. He's the last man defending back there for Rangers, tidying things up, which was a potentially dangerous situation. Great energy and desire for him to get back and help his team defend.
The head of Lundstrom from the long Kelly ball. McGinn returns it forward. Cantwell didn't get much on it, but Goldson's in behind him to mop it up. And he slips it out to the right for Tavernier, the Rangers scorer. Now it's Cantwell to Yilmaz on this left-hand side. Sakala ahead of him. And the ball forward from Yilmaz bounces off a Motherwell player now for a throw-in to the visitors on this near side. There was a time when Fasten Sakala only ever scored against Motherwell. The Rangers number 30 will be hoping to get in the act again today.
And that might come later, Liam, because one thing that goal will have done, it will maybe knocked the wind a little bit out of Motherwell. They're having to put so much effort to chase this ball and work side to side. Slattery, Spittle, Cornelius, they're working ever so hard in the midfield there to shut off the passing channels and be compact for Motherwell. That goal will just maybe deflated them a little bit, and Rangers are just knocking it about. You can see already a couple of Motherwell players are breathing a little bit harder.
Long ball for Rangers, headed clear. Slattery gives it away though to Colak. Now Cantwell, here's Tavernier, bends the ball in, too high for Sakala. Max Johnston will pick up on this near side, right hand side of his box, and he leathers it forward up towards halfway, where Ben Davis controls, and he plays it short to Lundstrom. As we approach 27 minutes, the scoreline standing at one apiece. Kent in field for Jack, moving forward, slips it to his right for Cantwell, and out to the right hand side of the Motherwell box, level with the penalty spot for Tavernier. Back to Cantwell, low ball in, cut out by Goss, who clears it, but it's gone straight to Lundstrom. And actually Motherwell's use of the ball hasn't been great in the game so far. It's 27 minutes old. Jack plays it to Kent, and then Cornelius loses out to Ryan Kent on the follow-up. Back heel from Kent for Cantwell. The winter arrival from Norwich plays it short, square there for Jack, and then John Lundstrom. Yilmaz on this near side. He gets it from Lundstrom, gets it back from Yilmaz, and then moves back into his own half. Patient from Rangers. Lundstrom to Cantwell in the centre circle, bends it out to Tavernier wide in the right. Colak ahead of him. Tavernier holds on to it up against Furlong. Back to Cantwell. And faced by Cornelius. Runs it back the way to Jack. Good period of possession this for Rangers there. Been able to penetrate Motherwell at the moment though. It's that set piece, the free kick, that brought them level. Sakala knocks it out to Tavernier wide on the right again. Ball forward, bounces off Cornelius, then Lundstrom keeps it in play. Back down the line over on the far side for Tavernier. And now with Davis. And then Connor Goldson.
And I think with Rangers, with the diamond formation, you see some of the upsides and maybe some of the perceived downsides as well, in that it gives you a lot of control of the football. You're very reliant on central combinations, and you're also very reliant on the fullbacks advancing, getting into good crossing positions, and Rangers have done that on a couple of occasions, but probably just the final execution just hasn't quite been there. And then from Motherwell's perspective, what I felt they did really well at the start of the game was show that composure to outplay and play through the pressure. Now they're just starting to look a little bit rushed, a little bit hurried, and I think the Rangers players are actually feeding off that and starting to go through the gears a little bit.
Yeah, this little run that Motherwell have been on has seen them move from joint bottom with Dundee United to 9 points clear of them. And everyone in the league now having played the same number of matches coming into this weekend, 10 still to play. They're 6 clear of second bottom Kilmarnock. They're behind Ross County on goal difference. So they're in an excellent position, actually, potentially looking up at the top 6, depending on what happens in the next game or two, as they get the decision down on this near side. Michael Beale down there having a conversation with the 4th official, Greg Aitken, as Callum Butcher prepares to take this free kick for Motherwell just inside their own half on this main stand side, as he rolls it back to his goalkeeper. And it's Kelly well outside his box, smashes it forward, looking for Spittle, who does get his head onto it, but it was out of play for a throw into Rangers on this near side level with the edge of the D of their own box, as we tick on to the half-hour mark here at Fir Park. Motherwell 1, Rangers 1, Kenny Miller.
Yeah, and it's a little bit welcomed rest for Motherwell away for their own half in their own box. Rangers, like you say, have had a lot of this possession and attacking round about Motherwell's box and making them defend. And that was offside if Sakala will come later. But,
might have done, but in fact it's gone up now as Sakala puts the ball into touch on the far side.
He obviously knew that, and that's why he just kicked out Liam.
Of course, yeah.
But it was, I thought just saying before, it was a little bit respite for Motherwell. A lot of defending, they're having to suck back into their own 18-yard box and defend with their 5 and their 4 players across the line, and it's super hard. And you can't help but feel, if Rangers do go through the gears like Tam says, that they're going to find an opportunity. It's like Motherwell are sitting there waiting for that goal, and then they might respond after it, whereas they can maybe try and get a bit of a foothold back in the game, get their foot on the ball. They've got good players in there. Sean Goss loves to be on the ball, and if they can get a foothold in the game and start asking Rangers more questions, I'm sure Stuart Kettlewell will be looking at that moving forward.
Rangers remain unbeaten in the league under Michael Beale. It's his 19th game in charge. His only defeat so far, the League Cup final 3 weeks ago, and only Celtic had prevented him from winning since he took over. And that draw at Ibrox as well, and that's a costly draw. The longer this goes on, the longer the Celtic juggernaut continues on its merry way. Despite being unbeaten in league games, Michael Beale's not been able to put a dent in what's happening on the other side of Glasgow.
It just shows you how strong both teams are, Liam. You know, they've found a way this season, and even if they've not been playing right at their highest level, they're still winning games of football. They've got really good players in there and match winners that can make a difference even when things are not going your way.
Cantwell gets it from Goldson down the far side. The ball forwards cut out, cleared by Furlong. Cushioned header from Ben Davis for Goldson.
It's that one there, Tam, isn't it? Like, Van Veen has to be available for his team there. That's a ball that's literally landing 3 yards away from him. You have to read the situation as the forward there. The ball's on that side. Can you get over to that side of the centre back just to get a hold of it, buy a free kick, get your team away from this defensive block that they're finding themselves in for probably 80-90% of this game?
Definitely, and there's also players on the pitch that can actually dribble to take you up the pitch in wide areas, to go on a long burst and run and really just flip this game on its head a little bit, because Rangers are now establishing a bit of rhythm, a bit of control. They're moving with a lot of freedom, and if Motherwell are not careful, they might be sleepwalking into something that could be quite damaging.
Here is John Lundstrom collecting midway inside the Motherwell half, knocks it forward to Sakala, back to Kent. Kent then dinks the ball into the Motherwell box. It's cleared there by Furlong up towards halfway, comes off the head of Goldson, and then back with Ben Davis just outside the centre circle inside his own half. The rugby continuing on the other BBC Radio Scotland frequency this afternoon. Italy leading 6-5 in that one. A couple of penalties as Rangers come forward down the right. Tavernier clips the ball in. Ken can't get anything onto it. Lundstrom does. It's blocked by Kelly. Took a deflection, and then Sakala on the rebound puts it well wide. And it stays Motherwell 1, Rangers 1.
What a save, Liam. Liam Kelly is literally 3 yards away from his defender when it deflects off him. And I'm going to give him all the credit that he knew everything about it, but I don't know if it's hit him in the chest or in the face. But it's an incredible instinctive save to stop Rangers going in 2-1 up here. Lundstrom just catches a half volley from a Tavernier cross at the edge of the box, headed away. Lundstrom catches it sweet as a nut with his left foot, drills it in, and it takes a nick literally 3 yards in front of Liam Kelly, and he manages to keep him out of the back of the net. That's a save that's kept Motherwell level.
It's an important period in the game, you feel, this one. We've played almost 34 minutes, but I think back to the game last season between the sides. Kenny might remember it, Tam may well remember it as well. Rangers won 6-1. They went 1-0 down that day as well, and it was Tavernier who scored the equaliser for Rangers. That came just before half-time. Sakala scored in first half stoppage time, 2-1 at the break, 6-1 by full-time.
Yeah, maybe just goes to show how important that save could be. I mean, again, you look at milestones and landmarks in games. I'm sure at the moment Stuart Kelly will be looking at the clock, hoping he can just get his team in level terms at half-time, maybe rejig a few things, try and instill a little bit more confidence and belief in them that they're actually maybe better in what they're showing, or find a way to actually stop Rangers playing and having so much easy time on the ball.
There was a howl from the Motherwell fans because they felt Slattery was fouled by Kent. Slattery felt he was fouled by Kent as well. Referee would play on. Rangers cleared, but Motherwell come again down the left with Cornelius, blocked by Tavernier, who pinches it back, finds Cantwell to Lundstrom, then Todd Cantwell plays it short to Goldson, and back out to the right for Cantwell as we tick into the final 10 minutes of the first half at Fir Park. Cleared by Lundstrom. It's not a great clearance, drops the edge of the box here for Slattery. He's on the turn, tries to knock it back to Goss, but Cantwell gets a vital touch on it, and now Kent's coming away on the counter, 3-on-3. Kent's pass is cut out though by Paul McGinn, who said he too's been in excellent form recently since the arrival of Stuart Kettlewell as the manager here. Back to Kelly, and it's a clipped ball forward into the Rangers half. It was off the head of Davis, but he was pushing Spittle, and that's a free kick to Motherwell. 35.5 in. Motherwell 1, Rangers 1.
I think we've seen a couple of minutes ago when Callum Butcher received the ball, when he was actually able to drive through the first part of the pressure. The great thing about the formation that Motherwell are playing with the wing backs is that as a worst case scenario, you've always got the diagonal, so it's really important that Motherwell actually show a little bit of bravery on the ball and really try and play their way a little bit of trouble here, because the defensive line's starting to drop off, they're starting to get disconnected, some of the players are getting frustrated on the pitch, and there's just a couple of simple things that would actually really help them get a little bit of a foothold back in this game.
And when they get in that attack in third time, they need to have a little bit more belief in themselves. There was two situations they've got there, and there was just like, you know, we're here, but what are we doing? And they just turned the ball over, and then Rangers then bowled the next attack. Go and actually put this back line under pressure like they did for the goal. Ask them questions.
Here's Sakala at the edge of the Motherwell box though, back to Lundstrom, pokes it to Cantwell. Todd Cantwell seen plenty of the ball in this first half. It's a short one for Jack though, he's giving it away. Here's Slattery for Van Veen, he's on the turn, he's on his own though, up against Davis, and it just comes off the heel of Ben Davis. Van Veen's frustrated, Rangers win it back fortuitously. Jack's pass is poor again though, it goes right through to Johnston, and he was back to Liam Kelly. 37 just about played, one apiece.
I think it's a good point that Kenny makes here, and that when you do get these attacks, you have to be able to sustain them, you have to be able to probe, you have to be able to squeeze Rangers and then counter-press them when you lose the ball half the pitch. It's actually the best form of defence is to attack, and I know it's easier said than done, but if Motherwell can actually just get a little bit more of a kind of foothold, sustain those attacks a little bit longer, then they might actually find it they can get to half-time with this draw intact.
There's Cantwell for Rangers, who are seeking to lead by the half-time break, which is about 7.5 minutes away, plus stoppages. It's going to be a Motherwell ball down below us on this near side. Touchline, the subs today, incidentally. Oxborough's the sub-goalie for Motherwell. O'Donnell, Lamy, Mugabe, McKinstry, who scored the consolation goal the last time Rangers were here. Blaney, Mandron, Tierney and Miller. for Rangers: McLaughlin, Hadji, Suter, Kamara, Morelos, Wright, Arfield, Devine and Tillman. Throw in Motherwell, McGinn over it. Down on this near side, almost level with the edge of the centre circle. Told to get on with it by Nick Walsh. He bowls it into the Rangers half, and Yilmaz has it. He goes back to Davis, he goes back to his goalkeeper. And Alan McGregor closing in on the 500 appearance mark for Rangers. Kenny highlighting James Tavernier getting close to the 100 goal mark for Rangers. He's close to his 400th appearance for the club as well. As Colak picks up on this near side. McGinn really well defended by Paul McGinn, who's then brought down by Colak, and that's a free kick to Motherwell. And some of the Motherwell fans asking why Colak hasn't been yellow carded for that one, because it did seem a little bit cynical. No protests from the Rangers number 9. Free kick Motherwell.
Yeah, and Colak and his body's about him there. When that ball goes, a wonderful pass for Davis through the lines into his striker in the inside left channel, but he needs support. He needs a Ryan Kent, a Ryan Jack supporting him. They can just pop it off. Yes, he should do better and hold on to the ball and not give it away so cheaply, but he needs support. He's not that type of player to be taking the ball and holding it for 2, 3, 4 touches. He wants to take it and pop it off and try and find himself further forward.
One ball from Kelly. Johnston managed to keep Van play against the odds. He couldn't find Van Veen though. McGregor has it, and he bowls it out to the right for Tavernier. An infield low ball along the grass to Cantwell. Into the centre circle for Jack. Yilmaz is away down the left. Jack prefers the simpler option. He squares it to Lundstrom, who goes back into his own half for Davis. And the game descends back into what we've seen for most of this first half, and that's Rangers passing the ball from right to left and left to right inside the Motherwell half. Nothing between them on the scoring. Scotland 12, Italy 6 in that final Six Nations match. They look to finish third in the Six Nations table. Coverage continuing across the frequency. That's played forward by Lundstrom and right through to Liam Kelly, and the Motherwell captain and goalkeeper will pick the ball up.
It's the right idea for Lundstrom. He's trying to find a pass through, but there's just a little bit kind of unbalanced in the Rangers structure. Everybody was across the side of the pitch. Colak, Sakala, Kent, Cantwell, all your attacking players were all on the one side. It was left Yilmaz here on his own, and Lundstrom tries to force the pass through. He just overhits it and runs through to Liam Kelly. But a little bit more urgency, I think, needed for Rangers. With a lot of the ball in the final third, they need to be a little bit cleaner, a little bit quicker with their touches and their combinations.
2 tries for Scotland this afternoon. Van der Merwe and Kinghorn. Kinghorn converted his, so 12-6 as I say at Murrayfield. Kent for Rangers, bowling it back to Yilmaz. We're getting closer to half-time here at Fir Park with the scoring at 1-1. Van Veen with the opening goal for Motherwell in the opening few minutes. Cancelled out by Tavernier's free kick on 23. Here's Jack for Rangers on the near side in the Motherwell half. Forward to Sakala, back to Jack, then square to Cantwell. First time ball is headed clear by McGinn out to the near side. Johnston completes the clearance out for a Rangers throw-in, which will be taken quickly by Jack back to Davis. Now we're Ryan Jack on the halfway line, along the line for Lundstrom, back to Davis. Rangers looking to succour Motherwell in the closing minutes of the first half. Cantwell left to right of the circle for Goldson. Short ball, side foot to Tavernier on the touchline, and back it comes to Goldson. He squares it to Jack. It's left of the circle, forward to Sakala. A little flick there for Kent, a little bit too clever though. Motherwell win it back through McGinn again. Now it's Slattery to Spittle. Van Veen desperately trying to stay onside there. It's going to come to him. Not a great first touch though. It's right through to Alan McGregor, and the flag's gone up in any case against Van Veen, so Tavernier will get it from McGregor. Play on, and that found the net. An offside flag would have gone up against Van Veen. He was unlucky. You could see he's desperately trying to keep every part of his body onside as Rangers come forward with Yilmaz. He's at the edge of the box. He's gone for goal, but it's a comfortable take by Kelly. The effort from 20 yards, and he holds on, and it stays Motherwell 1, Rangers 1 on 42.5. Tam Courts.
Yeah, I think when I look at Yilmaz, he looks like he's a smaller fullback who likes to combine and come inside and play 1-2s. So it was actually really nice to actually see him actually show a different side of his game there when he's picked the ball up on the left-hand side, come inside, looking to play a couple of 1-2s, and then gets quite a weak shot of goal. But it's nice to actually see a different flavour for the type of player that he is.
Cornelius out to Furlong over on that far side. The Irishman back to Sean Goss, who's in the Northern Ireland squad for their opening Euro 2024 qualifiers. He's on the ball again here. Goes back to Butcher and then to Sean Goss. It's a long ball, it's poor though, it's straight into the touch over on the far side, and Rangers will have a throw in, and it's needless from Motherwell's point of view. It's an unforced error from Sean Goss. It's almost like he was frustrated there were no options closer to him and just punted it into touch.
Well, you could see the pressure coming on top of him as the Rangers, as each pass went, were creeping that little bit closer. But Slattery's partner was miles away. There was a lot of space to come and play and help and actually maybe build an attack. He tried to play long, got it wrong, Rangers come again.
As it stands, there will be a minimum of 2 minutes added on at the end of the first half, and we are 90 seconds away from that. Tavernier and Furlong battling for it over on the far side. Furlong had plenty of Tavernier's jersey there. It's cleared up to the halfway line where Goldson collects it at walking pace, then stops and turns it to his left for Lundstrom. He switches the play out to this near side for Kent. Kent's side foot forward to Sakala, bounced off his foot, back off his knee, unable to get under control. It's not been a good first half for Sakala as Van Veen comes forward. McGinn is fouled and the card is going to be flashed in the face of Ryan Jack here. His arms outstretched as he brought Paul McGinn to the deck, and Motherwell have a free kick, and Ryan Jack is the first Rangers player booked this afternoon.
Not a bad foul there, Liam. It was another opportunity for Motherwell to counter. They've had a few in the last 5 minutes or so. They've not really made the most of them, to be honest with you. But Paul McGinn showing great energy. He's defended so long this half.
Here's Johnston. Oh, I thought he'd taken that down really well there. It just bounced away from him. It just needed a little deft touch, and Van Veen was waiting in the middle. It was a well-worked free kick, actually, clipped to the right-hand side of the box. Johnston's unlucky, Tam.
Yeah, it was, and any time that Motherwell have actually had no pressure on the ball and they've looked to release Johnson, making that run in behind the fullback, it looks like he could be really threatening all afternoon. It's obviously where the goal came from, right at the early outset as well.
Yeah, Van Veen's now brought down Davis, who's having a look to see if Van Veen's going to be booked for that. I have to say, I mean, the other fouls in the game were akin to that, but there's no yellow, I don't think. It's just a stern talking to by Nick Walsh for the Dutchman. 2 minutes confirmed.
It might be the strikers' union. I actually thought he won the ball, to be honest with you. Listen, it was quite a strong tackle, but Davies was coming forward. He's dwelling on the ball. The strikers every right to actually go and try and put you under a bit of pressure. Goes for this. He goes to ground. I think he got a bit up when he got a lot of the ball, in my opinion.
Well, that must have spared him the card.
That must have been what it was, huh?
Tavernier will take the free kick just before the midway point of the Motherwell half. So we're in first half stoppage time, 1-1. Tavernier clipping the ball to the right-hand side of the box, but the referee sounds his whistle, and it's gone against John Lundstrom, who was trying to get something on the free kick. It emerged at the feet of Connor Goldson, the right-hand side of the box, but the referee blew the whistle, and we go into the final minute of the injury time. So 1-1. Who's the happier manager, Tam Courts?
Oh, I think that will be Stuart Kettlewell. I think for me, his team's obviously facing a completely different challenge today. If you look at the way that they've won games recently, they've had to show a lot of heart and desire and grit and determination to essentially rescue their season. Whereas today, obviously with the goal scoring prowess of Van Veen on show, the team has had to still show a lot of that character. But I think he'll probably be more pleased than maybe his opposite number just now, because the team hasn't panicked. They look like they've got a good shape, a good structure. They're probably a little bit too deep for my liking, and it's not something I think they can actually replicate for the next 45 minutes, because...
Yeah, here's Sakala up the other end, shooting and winning the corner. Is there time to take it? Looks like there is.
Absolutely.
Final few seconds.
And I think Rangers, the players between the lines there, when those opportunities open up, you start to see the quality coming through, and eventually that'll become problematic for Motherwell.
This would just be like one of the big two from Glasgow. Scored just on half-time. And James Tavernier will take Davy Cooper end. In swinger with the right foot. Comes to the back post and over the bar from Goldson. He's looking up to the heavens for answers, Connor Goldson. Then he beats the turf in frustration. And that'll be the last chance of the first half, Kenny.
Yeah, it looks like it. I mean, again, Connor Goldson, he always seems to find his way round the back for set plays. This time he gets on it, half volley over the bar, end of the half.
Yeah, half-time in North Lanarkshire. Motherwell started so brilliantly for them. Kevin Van Veen's 18th goal of the season after excellent play down the right-hand side by Motherwell. Rangers caught in the hop in the early stages, and Max Johnston, who's been excellent for Motherwell recently since returning from his loan spell at Cove Rangers, found Van Veen at the back post and he flicked it home to give Motherwell the lead. Remember, they haven't beaten Rangers in a league game in 54 attempts coming into this one. 20 minutes later, though, a free kick given away in the edge of the box, and Tavernier does what he generally does, and he curled the ball past Liam Kelly. Did leave a big gap to his right, Tavernier's left, and Tavernier found the net to find his 15th goal of the season in a game of few opportunities, really. Liam Kelly did save one from John Lundstrom. It was deflected right through to him. Protests from both sets of supporters ahead of kick-off in this one for different reasons. Motherwell have held on a little bit. Rangers have seen 75% of the ball. They've had 6 attempts in goal to Motherwell's 1. But the scoreline at the break at Fir Park is Motherwell 1, Rangers 1.
Football from Sports Sound.
Brilliant drop of the shoulder!
From BBC Radio Scotland.
There's no substitute.
The search is to uncover the best new and emerging talent in Scotland's diverse music scene, and we need your help.
We're looking for you to choose your favourite artist from the shortlist for BBC introducing Scottish Act of the Year.
The 4 entrants with the most votes will go through to the final and have the opportunity to win this prestigious award.
You've got until 11 p.m. on Tuesday, the 21st of March 2023 to cast your all-important vote.
To hear the nominees, vote, and for information, terms and privacy notice, head to bbc.co.uk/Radio Scotland.
And listen on Friday nights from 8 to follow the search for BBC introducing Scottish Act of the Year.
So in our first commentary of the day at half-time, it is Motherwell 1, Rangers 1. Kevin Van Veen with the opener on 3 minutes. James Tavernier equalising with a free kick on 23 minutes. So much more to bring you on Sports Sound. 2 more commentaries, 5 top-flight games. We have reporters at 3 matches in the Championship, and I'll bring you all the goal news from right across the country in open all mics at 3 o'clock. Just a reminder, 1 game off today. That's Elgin City against Stenhousemuir. That one was postponed due to a waterlogged pitch. So that's you right up to date with everything on sports. And let's get back then to Fir Park. Tam Courts and Kenny Miller there for us this afternoon. Tam Courts, we spoke about the importance of the start for Motherwell today. When you're up against one of the big 2, you've got to go to that good start. They did that. Kevin Van Veen with the goal looked very tight. It was given after a VAR check. The dream start, and even despite being pegged back midway through the half, they've hung in there really well, haven't they?
They have, and you can see again, this is a team that's kind of used to winning recently. They're united, they're together. There's a lot of experience on the pitch as well, and I think when the team know that they've got a goal scorer like Kevin Van Veen with the types of numbers that he produces, you go into the pitch knowing that one moment that he can capitalise, and that's exactly what happened. And it was a really good moment for young Max Johnston as well, young Scotsman from the academy here, really kind of showing his qualities, and I'm hoping that he can actually show even more in the second half, because people that can dribble, people that can drive and take the team up the pitch, and also Kevin Van Veen being able to use his nous, win free kicks and just show his qualities is going to be really important for Motherwell in the second half if they're going to get anything out of the game. Yeah, what have you made of the first half, Kenny, from both teams' perspectives?
Well, Motherwell a fantastic start and put Rangers under pressure. I mean, Tam's touched on it there. I mean, they look to be attacking down this right-hand side with Max Johnston a lot, whether it be diagonals or cross to him on top of Yilmaz, balls over the top and him to use his running power and his qualities to get into the final third. And then when they got the goal, it kind of stopped a little bit. They had to drop deep and defend a lot, which again, it comes with the territory when you play against the Old Firm. When they come to town, they're going to have a lot of the ball, they're going to kind of pin you back, and they're going to ask a lot of questions of you. But for Rangers, it has been a lot of possession. I think Liam said 75%. They've had a few shots at goal without any clear-cut chances, to be honest with you, created. There's been a few shots for distance. You had the free kick and the goal for Tavernier. But I think Michael will want more for his team in the final third, because they're getting there pretty easily and pretty comfortably. But it is all a bit static. It's a bit pedestrian. And again, all in front of Motherwell. Even if you're making these runs, Cantwell done it once in the first half and they got a good situation out of it. So I think Michael will want a lot more urgency in the final third from Rangers in this second half. And listen, it might take time to look to his bench, all the players that we mentioned pre-game. There's a really strong squad there at Rangers now, a lot of good players on the bench that maybe feel a little bit unlucky that they're not starting the game. So I think the bench are a big part. The one thing about Motherwell is they are working, they said that during the half, they're having to work so hard because Rangers have got all the ball and they're making them work across the pitch. I think particularly Cornelius, Spittle and Slattery are working ever so hard on the sides of Sean Goss to get across and shut Tavernier and shut Yilmaz and help their backline defend this blue wave that's coming at them for the majority of the game. Well, it does take its toll. Again, the bench will become really crucial for Stuart Kettlewell, but from Rangers' point of view, they'll want to keep at that. They'll want to be a little bit quicker, a little bit more cleaner and round about the box with combinations, better movement, and hopefully you're going to wear this Motherwell team down as the game goes on.
Yeah, that Rangers bench today: McLaughlin, Hadji, Suter, Kamara, Morelos, Wright, Arfield, Devine and Tillman. Tillman back in after a spell out. I know you guys always be reluctant, Tam, to criticise goalkeepers. Liam Kelly's a fine goalkeeper, many wonderful saves. He had a great save later on, an instinctive save that Kenny referred to, but he's got to do better from that free kick from Tavernier, albeit there was a lot of free kick, but you're expecting your keeper to save that.
I know Liam quite well, and the one thing that I'm always impressed about him is his honesty and his humility, and I think he'll probably admit himself that he could have done better. But also, you know, the mark of a top professional and a top goalkeeper and a leader at that as a captain of the team is the way that he's bounced back, and you can see that it hasn't had an impact on him. And yeah, he'll be disappointed, but he knows that he's going to face a lot more, you know, attempts at goal this afternoon, and it's really important that he maintains focus and concentration and tries to help his team get something out of this game.
What do you make of Tavernier, Kenny? I heard you talking about there in the commentary. I think it's fair to say, so as you referenced there, 98 goals now for Rangers, his 15th goal this season. He's obviously the captain. He was recently inducted into the Hall of Fame, but there are still a lot of Rangers fans who don't view him that highly. I think that's fair to say that, isn't it? Where do you stand on it?
Again, I've constantly, I wouldn't say protected because he doesn't need protection, but I've backed him because the numbers are there, right? When you're talking about goals and assists, it's incredible numbers, you know, and I get it why Rangers fans might also have frustration, and something that will always be thrown on will be the trophies that have not been won over the time. But what he's doing is any time he needs to stand up and be counted, he's the man that does it, because people will say a lot about the penalties and everything that Rangers get. He still needs to stand on that spot in front of, whether if it's at home, 50,000 Rangers fans expect it, and big moments that he has done over the European run last year. I mean, some incredible moments at real crucial times. Today, free kicks. Last 2 weeks ago at Livingston, he steps up with a penalty and a free kick as well. You know, and the thing about him is he's always there. You know, he stands up, he's never missing, or very, very rarely missing through injury. That's why he's approaching 400 games for Rangers, which is incredible when you're thinking I think it's his 8th season, or approaching the end of his 8th season. He's averaging over like 50 games a season. You know, that's a guy who is there week in, week out, who can be counted upon. Listen, is he up there with the best, greatest right backs up playing at the club? Probably not. But what he's put on the board in terms of goals, assists, how he's there to stand up to that criticism, because he's one of the guys when things are not going well, he does get a lot of the criticism levelled at him. But by the way, he's still there the next week, he's still leading the team, he's still putting himself forward to stand up and represent his club. It's a heavy jersey to wear, and what he does is he wears it well. Yeah,
your thoughts on this, Tam? I'm guessing as an opposition manager, when you see James Tavernier standing over a free kick like that, and Liam gave it the big build up and he was bang on, he tucked it away, albeit the keeper, as I say, could have done better, but he's a real quality player, isn't he?
He is, absolutely, and I think when you actually look at his journey, where he came from, how he actually had to almost earn his place in the Rangers team to eventually become the leader, the guy that rescues the team, like he's actually rescued the team today. It's quite enigmatic, the numbers that he's produced, not just in terms of goals and assists and appearances like Kenny says, but when you actually combine all these factors together, it's actually quite special, and it's something to be respected in my opinion.
What about Callum Butcher, a player that you know well? He's now a Motherwell player. You had him at Dundee United. Talk to us about him, his qualities.
Yeah, I think during the match we were talking about him and Casey's impact when they've actually come into the team recently and played together and have given the team that real solid foundation. And I think today what you're seeing from Callum is all of his experience, knowing when to slow the game down. He's talking to his teammates. On a couple of occasions as well, he's actually driven out from the back and actually showed some good composure. So his experience is going to be absolutely vital for the next 45 minutes. And if I was managing him today, I would be really asking him to drive the line, because there have been a few moments where they can actually help the team get up the pitch, get closer to Van Veen. But unfortunately against Celtic and Rangers, once the units start to become quite disconnected, then the play's fragmented. It then becomes very difficult. So for as much as he's doing great just now, I'd be putting a little bit more responsibility on him as well to keep driving that line up so that Van Veen is not isolated.
What will the message be, Kenny, in that Rangers dressing room right now from Michael Beale?
Again, I've touched on already. They need to be better going forward. They need to have more energy in that final third. There needs to be more forward movements, and it's not always just to get the ball. I keep saying it and banging my head against the wall, saying it every single week watching this team. You might not get the ball, but you might free space up for a Cantwell, for a Kent, for a Sakala, and something might drop. They just need to be better. Again, go back to Easter Road. The movement, the energy in the team, and how quickly they move that ball, and how they cut Hibs open at times. That's what you need to see when you're playing against these deeper blocks. And like I said also, the game, Motherwell will get tired. They will drop deeper. They will not be shutting across these passing channels or filling the gaps as much towards the end of the game as what they have been in the first half. And at that point, that's where Rangers must exploit.
Yeah, so far so good for Motherwell. We heard from Stuart Ketwell before the game. 3 wins and a draw from his 4 games ahead of this, and very much on course for getting something from this match this afternoon. Motherwell off to an absolute fire. Van Veen on 3 minutes. Tavernier with equaliser on 23 minutes. Just looking at the stats from the game, Rangers 76% possession, 8 shots to Motherwell's 1, 3 on target to Motherwell's 1. Just the 1 corner for the away side. That was right on the stroke of half-time. We were done and dusted at Fir Park. Full commentary to come from Celtic against St Mirren. Also the option of open all mics. Aberdeen against Hearts. Online commentary from that game there. I was reading earlier on the dreadful run of form that Hearts have had up at Pittodrie. Really, really poor. They haven't actually won. It's 7 straight defeats. They haven't won in 9 games up there at Pittodrie. So a real challenge for Robbie Nielsen's side this afternoon, albeit they're going very nicely in 3rd spot in the top flight this season. Also coverage of Dundee United against St Mirren, a big game there. Kilmarnock against St John's. We heard from Derek McInnes during the week. There's a great belief that his side can beat the drop. Livingston against Ross County. Livy still with an ambition set, of course, on the top 6. Ross County in that battle at the bottom of the table. And we have reporters at 3 games in the Championship for you this afternoon. Hamilton Accies against Ayr United. Partick Thistle against Dundee. What a game that one promises to be. And also Queen's Park against Inverness Cally Thistle. And I'll give you the goal news from Wraith Rovers against Cove Rangers. So a busy afternoon coming up on Sports, and we're with you right through until 6 o'clock. So how do you see this one going in the second half, Tam?
I think in the dressing room, I think Stuart Kettlewell will be trying to convince his players that if they were offered this at the start, they would have absolutely taken it. But then again, we now need to see the team back on the front foot, because if it's only going to be a damage limitation exercise, then with Rangers' quality, with the additional quality that's on the bench, it probably is only a matter of time before Rangers actually get the breakthrough and get ahead. But in saying that, if Motherwell can actually get on the front foot, they can get Max Johnson isolated against the Rangers left back, and they can be a little bit more braver in possession, particularly when they've got these really good counter-attacking moments, then ultimately there might be something in the game for them. But again, it's all going to come down to using the bench and capitalising on those key moments in the game.
An interesting second half ahead. Time now to sit back and enjoy the action. Motherwell against Rangers with Tam Courts, Kenny Miller and Liam McLeod.
So Motherwell's last win all told over Rangers was their 2-0 League Cup semi-final victory in 2018 when Louis Moult scored twice at Hampden to set up a final against Celtic, which they go on to lose. Their last win all told against Rangers here was their Premiership playoff final second leg. A 3-0 victory. Johnson, Ainsworth and Sutton's penalty condemned Rangers to a second season in the second tier. Of course, Motherwell had won the first leg at Ibrox as well. They completed a spectacular aggregate victory. No changes for either team at the start of the second half. The sun trying to come out here in North Lanarkshire. Motherwell in the claret and amber will kick off right to left, shooting towards the Davy Cooper stand, with Rangers in the blue and white shooting south towards the away stand, which is jam-packed this afternoon. And Sean Goss gets the second half underway, rolling it back to Butcher, who goes long with the right foot out to that far side. Underneath it with the head is Davis. His header drops to McGinn. His pass goes straight to Lundstrom. Now it's Jack flashing it towards Kent, who's managed to keep it in place. Done well. Now he's charging forward, Ryan Kent. Colak's waiting in the middle. Kent checks his run, turns, crosses straight at Goss though, and he gets it clear with the left foot. That was better from Ryan Kent, and if anything, the speed of Rangers' play was the problem for them in the first half. 76% of possession, as Kenny was saying, but a lot of that was sideways passing that wasn't really going anywhere. But that was much more positive from Ryan Kent for Rangers, as Lundstrom picks up on the near sides. Kelly in goal for Motherwell. Johnston, McGinn, Butcher, Casey and Furlong, Goss, Slattery, Cornelius, Spittle and Van Veen. As Rangers come forward, Jack to Cantwell, with Tavernier out on this near sidey level with the Motherwell 18, looking for an angle to cross, which he does, and Sakala heads the ball home. James Tavernier with an outstanding cross, and Fashion Sakala, who's got a better goal scoring record against Motherwell than anyone in his career, bullets the header past Liam Kelly. The perfect start to the second half for Rangers, and it's Motherwell 1, Rangers 2. Sakala right in front of the away support.
Perfect start for Rangers in the second half, Liam, and it's a wonderful work goal. Again, a familiar source in James Tavernier's right boot. He swings it in, and Fashion Sakala, again given his size, he's very, very strong in the air. Wins a lot of headers for set plays, wins a lot of headers when the ball goes up to him, and this time he rises above his man at the back post and bullets the header past Liam Kelly. The perfect start for Rangers to the second half.
Yeah, and I think conversely, I think Motherwell will be disappointed. No pressure on the ball to stop the cross. Sakala essentially gets a free header. You've got to compliment him for the timing and the finish, but disappointing for Motherwell, because that probably gives them a real mountain to climb now, and expect to see Rangers to really take the upper hand and go through the gears now.
Rangers behind, James Tavernier scores and assists, and suddenly they're in front. And that comes back to Liam Kelly. And the guys were discussing the impact of James Tavernier at the club. He actually scored on his debut. He arrived at the same time as his Wigan teammate Martin Waghorn. 8 seasons he's been at the club now. Scored on his debut in a 6-1 win over Hibs in a Challenge Cup match. Stephen Gerrard made him captain. He's on 98 goals now, and that, Kenny, was his 114th assist.
Just incredible numbers, you know. I mean, you're over 200 goal involvements and under 400 games. He's participating in a goal every other game. It's just incredible numbers, you know. I mean, there's modern day fullbacks and the way the game's played, and they want to get forward, and there are probably, again, maybe not judged as much for the defensive stuff, but these numbers are absolutely incredible. You know, he's hungry and driven to go and get more, as you can see. I mean, he's going to go on and get more. He'll get to the 100 club in goals, and again, he's a source of a lot of Rangers good play and attacking outlet.
Here he is again, Tavernier on this near side. Motherwell, an important phase in the game for them. It's a good challenge this time by Furlong though to win it back off Tavernier. Spittle hits it long. Van Veen's going to get onto this. Wide on the left though, looking for support in the middle. Gets the cross in, but it's just too close to the keeper. Dan Casey come up from his left centre-back position to try his best to get on the end of it. Van Veen couldn't quite find him, and it remains 2-1 to Rangers, 48, almost 49 minutes in.
And that's the chance. They have to make more. I mean, that's not a hard pass, Liam. Just to lift that over the head of Ben Davies, I think. Connor Goldson it was, and find your. It's
a chance for Rangers. Campbell's got it through to Colak. He's in on the goalkeeper right hand side. Tight angle, and Kenny Miller looks down in embarrassment for his fellow Rangers number 9 there, Colak. He's not even found the side net there. Right hand side of the 6-yard box. Really tight angle. but we can only imagine he's lost his bearings or something there as he embarrassingly puts it past.
Yeah, he did. I mean, he just got it all wrong. I think he hesitated, maybe just a step too much. He got the shot all wrong, straight into the stand. Like you say, he's never even threatened the goal. But the movement and the speed of the play, it's coming a pass right through, forward run in between left centre-back, who had just ran forward, by the way, in the attack, and the left wing-back. He got straight on and goal. Really, a player of his quality with the goals that he's scored this year should be putting Rangers 3-1 up, and a big step of getting 3 points here today.
Yeah, it's probably no coincidence that was on Dan Casey's side, as Kenny says he was coming back from that attacking phase in play, Tam, but worrying for Stuart Kettlewell that Cantwell's ball got right through to Colak, and one pass he's right in behind, in on the goalkeeper.
Yeah, definitely, and I think it's a combination of things. I think not getting pressure on the ball, you know, when Rangers are actually building the play, and the defence being too deep and too disconnected, and this is what I was saying at the half-time summary. I just think that if there's no pressure on the ball and the defensive line's far too deep, the quality of players that Rangers have got, they're ultimately going to find spaces between the lines, and it's only going to be a matter of time before they add to this.
Here they come again. Cantwell into the edge of the penalty area for Kent. He shoots, comes right through to Kelly, who holds on, with Colak sniffing around looking for a rebound. 50.5 in, 2-1 to Rangers, but this is ominous stuff for Motherwell all of a sudden.
It is, and you can see the message from Michael Beale and his coaching staff at half-time is to try and play forward quicker, try and play through these lines before Motherwell can get back in and deep and set in these two defensive blocks. Tam's right, there's no pressure on the ball at the high end. Make your passes, find the pockets like Cantwell did there, and then go and attack. Ryan Kent should probably have done better from his shot from the edge of the box.
Brilliant there from Paul McGinn as he wins it back, plays it, switching it out to the left for Furlong, to Spittle, and back to Furlong. Passes it back into his own half for his countryman Casey. That was a promising situation for Motherwell. Once again, Paul McGinn on the far side. He's been excellent for Motherwell today. As Furlong collects just inside the Rangers half, dinking it forward for Van Veen. Goldson gets there though between the man and the ball. He's brought down by Van Veen, who slaps his hands in frustration at the decision by the referee, which to award Goldson the free kick to the right hand side of his box. 2-1 to Rangers.
That's the foul that frustrates the life out of the strikers, Liam. It's the Stephen Presley. He invented that one, just going towards your own byline, just falling when there's nobody near you. He
won the odd penalty up the other end as well, did Big
he was
Elvis.
such a diver, so he was.
There's Colak for Tavernier. He passes it back to Kent. Moving forward, slips it with the outside of the boot for Tavernier, wide on the right. It's a first time cross this time. Bounces off Furlong behind for the corner. The Rangers are claiming it was a handball and they should be getting a free kick, but it would have been as good as a corner down on this near side. 52 in, 2-1 to Rangers. Again, they trailed in this one, as they have on many occasions over the last couple of seasons. They've managed to find a way to lead this game. And I think there's going to be changes down there. I know Kerdine Idsan is pitchside reporter for us down there. Kerdine, can you help us out?
Yes, Bevis Mugabe is coming on for Motherwell for Paul McGinn. So a change at the back for Motherwell. McGinn off, Bevis Mugabe coming on.
It's me saying how good a game Paul McGinn's having. He's being hooked. Doesn't look injured.
I don't know if there maybe is a wee hint of something, because like you say, he was performing pretty well. I mean, what Mugabe will give us some real height and strength, both for attacking set plays and defending these types of scenarios now.
He's away straight up the tunnel, Paul McGinn. So that's a blow for Motherwell, and they've got to defend this corner. Mugabe, he's had his injury problems this season, is on the pitch now, and it will be an out-swinging James Tavernier corner from the Rangers' right as they attack the goal to the right, the south end of the stadium. 53 on the clock, they lead 2-1. In from Tavernier, just above Colak. That was a free header. If Colak was able to get something onto it, bounces away from him, bounces away from Goldson, who keeps it in play wide on the left. Yilmaz with the up and under into the box. Kelly is, but he's being fouled, says the referee, and that's going to be a free kick to Motherwell, who trail Rangers by 2-1. Rangers have won the last 8 league games, their best winning run in the Premiership this season. It's their best winning run in the league since winning 9 on the bounce between that 6-1 win here at Fir Park last season and Boxing Day 21. Drawn points at Pittodrie in their next game post-winter break in a run that cost them their title defence. And the run that they had in the autumn this season, this time, it's they're unbeaten in 15 since losing at St Johnstone. The final 2 games of Van Bronckhorst's tenure as Goss wins the free kick in the centre circle. That came at the end of a run that seemingly cost them the title this season. Certainly cost Van Bronckhorst the Ibrox job. dropped points in 5 out of 12 games between mid-August and mid-November. And Hibs, Celtic, St Johnstone, St Mirren at home to Livingston. 12 points shed, the gap's 9. As Butcher takes the free kick out to the right-hand side, headed away by Yilmaz. Sakala, it's a lovely touch. They've never lost when he scored for them. And he's driving forward. He couldn't quite pop it through to Colak, though. And it's back with Butcher. Slips it out to the right for Furlong, who dinks it, looking for Slattery down the right-hand side. Covering players, Davis plays it off the Motherwell man and out for a Rangers throw-in over on that far side. Motherwell 1, Rangers 2 as we approach 55 minutes, Tam.
Yeah, I think Motherwell just losing Paul McGinn at the wrong time there, because he's a fullback to trade. He's quite comfortable going into pockets with Sakala. He's happy to go wide, and unfortunately I think the injury actually happened in the first couple of minutes of the second half when he tracked Ryan Kent in the wide areas. So that's a bit of a blow to Motherwell. But what they've got in Mugabe is somebody who is very strong, powerful, who has that defensive quality to kind of help keep the back door shut and maybe help them get a bit of a foothold in this game and maybe somehow try and get themselves back into this game.
Huge games to come. 3 o'clock kickoffs. Aberdeen Hearts, Celtic Hibs, Dundee United, St Mirren, Kilmarnock, St Johnstone, Livingston, Ross County in the Championship, Accies Ayr, Partick Thistle, Dundee, Queen's Park, Inverness and Raith Cove. And the big games in League One, Dunfermline, FC Edinburgh, Queen of the South, Falkirk. They're all big, of course, if you support a team. Dumbarton, Albion Rovers, Bonnyrigg, East Fife. 2 points separating the top 2 in League 2 as Rangers come forward down the left. Sakala gets the cross in, looking for Colak, who puts it behind for the goal kick. He was under plenty pressure there, though. It's actually well defended by Casey against Colak. He was touch tight with the Croatian, and it was behind for the goal kick on 56. Motherwell 1, Rangers 2.
Brilliant play for Sakala again, forward running, determination to get in behind right centre back Mugabe, gets on it, flashes across goal with his left foot. Colak is probably a little bit behind him. I think he just tries to get some part of his anatomy on it, and it just deflects and goes wide. But good play for Rangers. You've seen Kent there picking up a little bit of different position, right on one touchline, Cantwell's wide on the other. Looks like they're trying to spread that Motherwell right across the pitch, free up space for that type of run for Sakala.
It's Ben Davis just rolling it to Yilmaz, who's tripped by Slattery. He's already in a yellow card. He'll need to be careful, because one more of them he might be off. And that's the kind of thing that might go through Stuart Kettlewell's mind. He's been forced into that change with Mugabe coming on. O'Donnell, Lammy, McKinstry, Blaney, Mandron, Tierney and Lennon Miller making up the Motherwell bench. Winston Oxborough's the goalkeeper. As Ryan Jack picks up over on the left of the circle to Sakala, then back to Jack, flicks it to the right of the circle for Kent, and then back to Goldson, who squares it for Davis. And Ben Davis up to halfway. Now it's with Sakala. He's got a hat-trick actually against Motherwell here a couple of seasons ago now, I think it was. Was it in the 6-1 game? As Kent flicks it to Lundstrom, and now Cantwell. Tavernier out to the right. Instead he moves it infield to Kent, and then a misunderstanding between the two. And now Motherwell come forward. Van Veen, lovely turn away. He's on his own though. Needs support. It's arriving left and right. Eventually he slips it to his right for Johnston up against Yilmaz. He does enough to put the challenge in. Van Veen slides in, and Lundstrom heads it back towards McGregor, but he's conceded the corner. And that just brings the Motherwell supporters to life here as we approach 58 minutes with Rangers leading by 2-1.
And it's as easy as that, Liam. Again, I'll mix up at the back for Rangers. Lundstrom and McGregor. It gets headed down for a corner, and now they can send Mugabe up, they can send Butcher up, they can send Casey up and look to try and get on the end of this. They're looking for a good delivery and a lot of aggression to go and attack this ball.
James Furlong, who's on loan from Brighton and Hove Albion, will take the corner. In swinger with the left foot. Davy Cooper stand end of Fir Park. Over on the Motherwell right. And it comes from Furlong, bends it in towards the back post, headed up into the air by Tavernier. Not much distance in it. Mugabe nods it down. Casey fighting for it. So it's Mugabe! Mugabe's poked it home against all the odds. The Motherwell substitute's only been on for a couple of minutes. He wanted it more than anyone there, the Motherwell number 5. On the slide, he pokes it past McGregor. And it's Motherwell 2, Rangers 2. This game's level again.
and that's a little boost in the arm that Motherwell need, because physically and mentally they were probably a little bit subdued there. Mugabe coming on, obviously you lose that ability to follow Sakala and to go into wide areas, but like Kenny and I said earlier, what he brings is that raw power and pace, and he's a danger in both boxes, and he's dragged his team back into the match here.
From a Rangers point of view, though, Liam, they've had chance after chance to clear that ball. It wasn't the greatest header for Tavernier initially, then it drops, and then it's like they were trying to shield it for maybe McGregor to come in, and Mugabe just never gave up. He stayed aggressive, and he just got a toe on it, and it was that close to Alan McGregor. It was past him before he could even react. 2-2 back in the game. Rangers have got it all to do again to pick themselves up and go and win this game.
As Tam says, that's a huge boost for Motherwell, and Rangers concede again.
And how often do you see it, Liam? You know, a mix-up, a mistake that's unnecessary, an unforced error, and it leads to situations that you have to defend, corners, free kicks, and then the team capitalise on it. 2-2 again, out of nothing really.
Yeah, as I said, he just seemed to want it more than anyone. Mugabe on the stretch, on the slide, he gets it into the net, and you'll be delighted with that, because as I mentioned earlier as well, he's had injury problems this season. And he's come on for Paul McGinn, and within a few minutes Motherwell are back on level terms. Rangers are back in a game. Here's Davis in the centre circle, marauding into the Motherwell half, unchallenged at the moment, slips it to the left there with the right foot for Kent. Jack out there on the far side as well. Kent plays it short for Lundstrom, and it was him who gave away the corner with that undecisive header, which was aimed for his goalkeeper, went behind for the corner, so it's a needless concession from Rangers. As Tavernier comes forward under pressure from Furlong, a brilliant challenge by Furlong, then Spittle just gets a little nick away from Cantwell. He keeps it in play, but only to the benefit of Tavernier. Moves for Colak, good challenging again, this time by Goss. Chip ball for Van Veen, he's going to chase this one. McGregor's committed himself. Van Veen takes him out of the game, lifts it towards goal, and it's gone wide. Goulton in the arms outstretched to calm everyone down, and Kevin Van Veen beat McGregor to it, but he just couldn't find the target, and it stays Motherwell 2, Rangers 2 on 61.5.
Yeah, it's a really good interception there by Goss, who stepped in front of the attacker and then set off the attack, and then Van Veen only had one thing on his mind as the counter-attack was unfolding, that was to get in behind, and he's such a dangerous player, and even at 31 years old he's still got a turn of pace, he's still got that calmness in front of goal, and a little bit of ingenuity apart, they might have actually been ahead in this game.
Here come Rangers. Kent to the left-hand side of the box, Sakala across, breaks back to Kent, then Colak blocked on the line, and Tavernier's efforts blocked, and Cantwell puts it home. Todd Cantwell restores the Rangers lead just a couple of minutes after Mugabe had cancelled it out, and he manages to smash it home. There's 3 or 4 bites of that one, and Todd Cantwell scores his first Rangers goal in front of the Rangers fans at Fir Park. It's Motherwell 2, Rangers 3.
And just rewind 30 seconds. Van Veen goes up one end. Probably should put Motherwell ahead 3-2. Rangers then regroup, go on the next attack, get down the left-hand side again. I think it was the Sakala with the cross again. Flash it across the goal. Colak has a bite, save. Tavernier has a bite. Liam Kelly makes another save. And then it falls to Todd Cantwell, who smashes it into the roof of the net. The third time he asking for Rangers. Back in front, 3-2.
Double Rangers change in the wake of that, Kerridine.
Yes, it's Morelos and Tillman who are stripped. Scott Arthur was going to get stripped. We're also waiting to see if there's a possible offside review here for the goal against Sakala over on the left-hand side, but definitely stripped Alfredo Morelos and Malik Tillman, so it just shows the strength of depth available to Rangers manager Michael Beale.
Yes, it does. Nick Walsh just halting the game, getting back underway. Andrew Dallas is the VAR. We're hearing he looks slightly off Sakala. So this goal might not stand yet. The Rangers fans' celebrations have ended, but the longer this wait goes on, the more they will realise this goal might be about to be chalked off.
And then you'll see the rest of the stadium celebrating, Leo.
Yeah, well, the Motherwell supporters had just celebrated their own team coming back to 2-2. Bevis Mugabe's first goal since he opened the scoring for Motherwell in that 6-1 defeat against Rangers last season. Has Todd Cantwell got his first Rangers goal? We're hearing this might not stand.
Is it offside, Liam? I see the Motherwell players claiming there's potential handball in the lead up to it as well.
Offside they're looking at against Sakala early in the move. Yeah. Well, there's substitutions been making just now, and the goal stands. And Cantwell has his first Rangers goal. So there you go. There was a bit of a wait there, but it must have been extremely tight again as Morelos comes on for Colak and Sakala is replaced by Tillman. But it does stand, and Kenny Miller a goal for Todd Cantwell. He'll be extremely happy with that.
He sure will. First goal for the club. It's always nice to go off the mark. Again, I don't recall too many opportunities for him to score up until this moment, but he took that one really, really well at the third time you ask him.
Game on then. Sean Goss takes centre, and it's back with Butcher. Launches it out to the far side. Too much on it though for Johnston, and it goes out for a throw into Rangers on the far side. So they weren't stewing terribly long in that Motherwell equaliser, where Rangers, and once again under Michael Beale, they're having to go through the mill, and even from his first game in charge, which was against Hibs at Ibrox.
It's something he'll not be too happy about, I think, Liam, because you touch on that game at Ibrox against Hibs that was then followed up at Pittodrie, where they conceded another two. They are conceding too many goals, and they're not going to find a way to recover all the time. You'll come unstuck at some point when you're conceding this amount of goals, and the best teams don't concede these amounts of goals. So it'll be something. Yep, it's a good trait to have, to always bounce back and go win games under a little bit of adversity, but Michael definitely will want to keep that back door shut a bit better.
Down goes Goldson, and free kick Rangers taken quickly. Now it's picked up here by Lundstrom. Well, there's clearly a couple of debates going on. We don't have monitors in front of us, we can't see replays, but from what I'm hearing and seeing on messages I'm getting, is that at least two of the goals shouldn't have stood today, including that Cantwell one, which we were hearing was quite possibly offside. We'll get to Cardine in a moment as Rangers pick up. Cardine does have a monitor down there as Goss pinches it back off Ryan Kent. 3-2 to Rangers on the score sheet, Cardine, but I mean, what I'm seeing right now is that potentially two of the goals this afternoon shouldn't have stood.
I think what people might be wondering about is where the lines were drawn. Certainly the line there was drawn, I think, with
that's what's being highlighted to me, certainly.
Yeah, the shoulder of Dan Casey there was where the line was drawn, so Sakala was just behind that, hence being onside, and I think it was similar for the first Motherwell goal where the line was drawn, allowing that goal to stand as well.
Sports Scene tonight, 7:30. BBC Scotland channel repeated later on in the evening on BBC One Scotland, and the guys will be, and I know for a fact that they are chewing over it already, as Tavernier finds Morelos, and now it's back with Lundstrom as we approach 67 minutes. Rangers lead 3-2.
I don't think Motherwell will be too despondent just now. I think they've proven that they can get ahead, they've proven that they can come from behind, and they probably recognise that it's going to be either a counter-attack or a set-piece that's going to get them back into this game. So I think there's enough experience on the pitch and enough closeness in this game to make them think that they can somehow get back into this football match.
It's with Connor Goldson flicking it to his left for his centre defensive partner Davis. Long ball towards Tillman. Actually, Tavernier would have been the better option. Tillman gets his toe onto it, and that favours Furlong, who manages to squeeze it through into the centre circle for Spittle. And then Cantwell with a foul, and a little bit of afters as well there on Slattery. I know Slattery likes to put it about in the midfield, but Cantwell had a little bite at him after that. Not literally, a little kick there when Slattery was already on the deck after he'd committed the foul in the first place. It's a warning for the Rangers number 13. And it's a Motherwell free kick. So a quarter of this game to go, give or take. And it's 3-2 to Rangers, with Butcher with a free kick out to the far side. Johnston wins the header, but it goes straight through to McGregor. And it's the Rangers goalkeeper just slipping it out to the right-hand side for Tavernier. Rangers with this 100% record away from home under Michael Beale in the league. And his 7 matches on the road in the Premiership. And that run was kick-started by Scott Arfield's 2 injury-time goals in Aberdeen on the 20th of December. He's taken 37 points out of a possible 39 from his 13 league games in charge. The best start by a Rangers manager since Ali McCoist as Morelos picks it up, left-hand side of the box. Looks up, back to the edge of the area. Tillman takes a touch and smashes it home! Wonderful goal! Malik Tillman Tillman scores at Fir Park for the second time this season, and that might just settle this one now. Brilliant take from him. First the touch, and then he unleashes the shot into the top right corner of the net, and it's Motherwell 2, Rangers 4.
And that's the type of play we're talking about. It's Ryan Kent driving, it's 1-2s, it's quick play, it's forward movement, a little diagonal run from Morelos. Maybe should have cut it across quicker with his left foot, but he decided to take his time, and then he just picks Tillman out about 14-16 yards out, centre of the box, and he drills it into Liam Kelly's, the top corner of Liam Kelly's net. A wonderful finish. Might be a little offside check on the forward run, I'm not sure, but it was an incredible finish for Tillman. One touch to set it, second touch to smash it into the top corner.
And really good play by Alfredo Morelos down the left to get that move sparked on the left-hand side of the box.
Well, he picks Tillman out, you know, that's what he does. He gets there, he doesn't panic. He could have put it across the goal and asked the Motherwell defenders to deal with it, but he took a touch, got his head up, picked Tillman out about 16 yards out, and Tillman did the rest.
Double change then for Motherwell, Cardine.
Yeah, Ross Tierney and Michael Mandron, the players coming on. Dean Cornelius coming off for Motherwell. Sean Goss coming off as well.
Well, that probably finishes Motherwell off, Tam, you would have to say, for the afternoon. And Rangers will pick up another 3 points. I would go back to Cardine, but please I'll just tell you, Arfield's coming on for Yilmaz, Tam.
Yeah, absolutely. I think unless Motherwell were to respond really quickly, it's a positive change by Stuart Kettlewell. And I know the young lad McKinstry that's come on, he's actually got 4 assists this year, so again there's maybe a little bit of an opportunity to really throw caution to the wind now. But again, Motherwell actually equalised against a run of play. Rangers were in a kind of state of flow, they had a lot of rhythm, a lot of control, and it was a goal against a run of play. So I think 4-2 is probably a good, accurate reflection of the game, and Rangers are worthy of their lead.
Long ball forward for Motherwell. Sales out of play for a throw-in over on the far side. It does appear, though, as though a storm is brewing with regards to some of the VAR decisions being made at Fir Park this afternoon. Us three here at the back, we don't have a monitor. No, Cardine has the monitor down there, but there's some extremely serious debate going on as to at least 2, maybe even 3 of the goal calls here this afternoon.
And we cried it in beforehand, Liam. We says VAR had been pretty quiet for a few weeks. You did say that, and now we're talking about 3 potential goals that shouldn't have been given. Yeah. Listen, Mo, again, like you say, we've not got monitors. We don't have the benefits of the replays or having a monitor in front of us. So we'll see. We'll let the guys deal with that back at HQ, and then we'll see what it is later on tonight. But listen, it's 4-2 Rangers, like Tam says. They're definitely worthy leaders, Rangers. Conceded against the run of play. 10 minutes later, they're 4-2 up and back in control of this game. And you know, they've looked far dangerous this second half. For all the possession and the shots on goal in the first half, there wasn't any really clear-cut chances. Whereas now they have kind of cut Motherwell open a little bit expected with the amount of work that Motherwell were having to put in to keep Rangers at bay.
Motherwell's next game is at Hibs after the international break, and Rangers have got Dundee United at Ibrox and their next one. And it's up into the air, breaks to Morelos from Tillman. Now Cantwell, and a lot more fire in the Rangers performance in the second half without question. Tavernier for Morelos, flicking it, looking for Tillman. The clearance comes straight back to Morelos, plays it short to Arfield. It's just in behind him though. That allows for Johnston to be able to clear from inside his own box. Cantwell wins it back off Van Veen, but the referee didn't like the challenge, and it's a free kick to Motherwell. And again, the Motherwell fans around us are barking for a yellow card, which isn't coming. As Van Veen picks up on the near side, he gave Motherwell such hope of ending that long wait for a league victory over Rangers, but they are 4-2 behind going into the final 17 here at what is now a sunny Fir Park, as Slattery knocks it out to Mugabe, who'd brought it back to 2-2 not long before Rangers. 2 goals from Cantwell and Tillman. Mugabe slips it forward, looking for Tierney, who's just a bit too much on it, and it goes behind for the goal kick to Rangers. Stuart Kettlewell down there, he's pacing around this technical area. He's made the changes, he's tried to alter now his team's fortunes are going on the pitch, but it's to no avail. And in fairness, I mean, Rangers were the better team in the first half, but they were nowhere near their best. This has been a different team that's come out for the second. It's been more like the performance, Kenny, that you saw at Easter Road a week and a half ago.
Yes, it's amazing what goals do. Goals change games. They can deflate teams on one side, but they can give you real confidence and energy on the other side. And I think also the changes have helped. It just goes to emphasise the strength of the Rangers squad when you're bringing guys like Tillman on and Morelos and Arfield. Personally, I thought this game was made for Arfield if I'd been staying kind of tight, 1-1 or 2-2, because his movement and his clever play. He's an excellent player to be bringing on in these situations. But yeah, Rangers definitely stepped up a gear, played forward quicker, better movement, and have been clinical when the chances have came along.
Tavernier taking it down on the near side, battled all the way by Furlong, though it's still Tavernier keeping it in play, getting it to Morelos, right hand side of the box into the area. Arfield gets a little effort on it, but it's a comfortable take for Liam Kelly this time. 74.5 on the clock, with Rangers leading by 4-2. The Scotland rugby team at Murrayfield, 1914 in fact is the scoreline now. Italy have come raging back at the Scots in the final Six Nations match of the tournament this year. Coverage continuing over on the other frequency here on BBC Radio Scotland. Here and as Rangers in possession with Tavernier across the halfway line, forward to Morelos, little important touch by Butcher. It's with Tierney, and then the free kick. Oh, Slattery's gone here. If this is another yellow, it is. He's off. Callum Slattery, and that just compounds Motherwell's woes. He's been shown a second yellow for the challenge on Cantwell. The Motherwell fans don't agree with the decision. I don't think Slattery does either, but he's off. Motherwell down to 10, already trailing Rangers by 4-2 on 75.5.
You know, we see this more often now in football, where the player on the ball looks like he's trying to protect himself and protect the ball and keep the opposition player away. Listen, if you have looked to then swing your elbow, your forearm into the face of the opponent and you've meant it, absolutely get it. But Slattery's in control of the ball. Campbell's trying to press him for the opposite side. He tries to keep him away. Again, we don't have the benefits in the replay, but I know the exact scenario. I've seen it a million times. If he's meant it, then it is a second booking a red card. If he's just protecting the ball, then it could be a harsh scenario. What I would say is Campbell made a big meal of it, and he's bounced up on his feet pretty quickly.
I just wonder if that little trip he had 10-15 minutes ago in the other half has worked against him there, as Arfield plays it in. It's blocked, clear by Mugabe. Once this attack's finished, we'll get to Cerdine. He's had a chance to see the replay of the challenge that led to the second yellow for the Premiership's most booked player, as Jack picks up and plays it to the left for Tillman, who got Rangers fourth. He hits the byline, plays it across, collected at his near post by Liam Kelly. Cerdine.
Yeah, I think Callum Slattery's a little unlucky there. His arm was up high. There was no deliberate attempt to hit Cantwell in the face. In any case, he didn't. It was the neck where there was contact, but I think he's a little bit unfortunate for a second yellow and therefore the red.
He's an important player for Motherwell as well. Slattery is one of the players who's maintained his position in the team after all the changes in the winter window. They made almost wholesale changes in Stuart Kettlewell's team right now, barely recognisable from the one Stevie Hamill sent out against Rangers here earlier in the season. Another change is going to be made. Changes, 2 for Rangers, Cerdine.
Yeah, another couple of changes. Kamara coming on, but even more significantly, John Souttar coming on for Rangers. Not played for Rangers or anyone else, not played any football for a long time, John Souttar. Nice to see him back.
Yeah, I think he's made a couple of sub-appearances, hasn't he, as he tries to work his way back to full fitness, Tam, and it's so important that John Souttar gets a run of games now. He'll want his place back in the national team as well, and he was really flourishing in the tail end of his Hearts career for both club and country.
Yeah, we played against him when he was his kind of free-flowing best as a centre-back on the outside of that back three at Hearts, and he's such an accomplished player. He's only 26 years old. He's still got the best years ahead of him, and he's also had to come back from some major injuries, so there is no doubt in my mind that in terms of kind of pedigree and quality, that he is Rangers quality, and hopefully can have a big impact at international level as well.
Some of the reaction from back in the office as well is that shouldn't have been a yellow card for Slattery. So there's going to be plenty talking points off the back of this game, albeit at that point the red card, and it's no consolation for Slattery or Motherwell. They're 4-2 down to Rangers as Morelos switches the play. Tavernier, a little deft flick to Arfield, right hand side of the box, back to Tavernier, level with the penalty spot. Now Arfield at the right angle of the box for Jack. His pass forwards cut out by Butcher, one back by Tillman. Malik Tillman, as we approach 79 minutes, Rangers leading by 4-2. Spring in the air as well here at Fir Park. The big jackets and hats have gone as Suter heads it back to Goldson. He's under pressure, he's had it nicked off him. A rare mistake by Connor Goldson, but Mandron found Tierney, couldn't return the favour, and Rangers have it back with Jack to Kamara, and now Kent on the left as we approach the final 10. Here comes Kent up to the edge of the Motherwell box. Morelos, three waiting in the middle. He plays it back to the 18-yard line, but it's hooked clear by Spittle. Mandron trying to get something onto it. Goldson does. Finds Davis, clips it out to Kent on that left-hand side. Now Ryan Kent comes forward. Rangers closing in on another win in the league. Should take them back to within 6 of Celtic, ahead of the champions kicking off against Hibernian in about 50 minutes time in Glasgow. Here is Ryan Kent, left-hand side of the box, up against Butcher. Low ball back to the edge of the box for Arfield, squares it to Tavernier, back to Arfield. Now it's Morelos, tight angle now, he's forced out wide of the penalty area. Ran away from him slightly as Arfield collects level with the penalty spot, knocks it back to Jack. Rangers toying with Motherwell here. Kent to Tillman, to Arfield, and then to Kent, to Tavernier. Couldn't get sight of goal, plays it back to Kamara to the edge of the box. It's Kent who's brought down on the edge of the D by Spittle. That's a free kick to Rangers, dead centre, and James Tavernier, Kenny Miller, might fancy goal number 99 here.
Maybe a little bit too close to the 18-yard box, maybe a little bit central, but listen, he's got the ability from here, absolutely no doubt. Rangers, like you say, just toying with Motherwell. Again, I would like them to see a wee bit quicker. Go for the 5th, go for the 6th. You're playing against 10 men. Show a real hunger to go and send messages, but this is a chance for James to get that one goal closer to that magical 100 mark and just round off a wonderful performance, both him personally and a big result for Rangers. Like you say, putting a little bit of pressure on the Celtic when they're playing against a Hibs team who have had a big upturn over the last few months in league position and obviously results. So you just never know.
81 minutes played. Jans Postecoglou hasn't lost a single domestic match at Celtic Park ahead of that one.
But they could get a draw, Liam.
You never know, Kenny, you never know.
I think there's a big space there again, Liam, on this other side now.
On the other side, Kent with the left or Tavernier with the right. Tillman's there as well. And slightly left of centre. 4-man Motherwell wall. Tavernier takes and he clips the roof of the net. It's enough to excite some of the Rangers supporters in the south stand. We saw the net ripple, but it was the wrong side of the crossbar from the Rangers skipper, and it stays Motherwell 2, Rangers 4 as we approach 82 minutes. Yeah, the gap just seems too big for Rangers. Celtic do not look like dropping points in 4 league matches going into the closing stages of the season, the last 10 games, and Rangers will be left cursing that run between mid-August and the World Cup break. They dropped points in enough matches, 5 out of the 12 games in that period, and 9 points behind Celtic coming into these games this afternoon. The goal difference has been brought back to 25. The Celtic need to either lose 4 of their final 10 or lose a couple and draw a few others. A Celtic side that's lost 1 of its last 60 league games, dropping just 17 points out of the last 180 that they've contested. So even I think the most optimistic Rangers supporter is not anticipating a collapse from the champions who just keep going on their merry way. Here's Jack for Rangers, for Arfield. He shoots and he's tugged it wide. The left-hand post from just outside the box, and it stays Motherwell 2, Rangers 4 on 83. Heading towards the closing stages, and I suppose, Tam, for Stuart Kettlewell, as always, that the gap is ginormous between the top 2 and the rest right now. 35 between first and third, 20 coming into this weekend, 26 I think between the second and third. So I guess Stuart Kettlewell will look at this, and anything he got today would have been a bonus, and he'll now focus on Hibs and what he will see as a more winnable game potentially as Blaney replaces Van Veen.
Yeah, I thought Stuart Kettlewell was quite clever with his language in his pre-match press conference. He was absolutely targeting something from this game. He wanted to maintain and keep this kind of positive run going, but he also wanted to make sure that the players, regardless of what happened today, didn't allow it to define this little period. And like you touched on earlier, with the games that they've actually got coming up next, Hibs away, Livy at home, Dundee United away, those are really big season defining games. So this is a really good kind of test and barometer of where they've come in the short journey with Stuart as the head coach. But ultimately they have to take the positives from today, and they have to go again and really maximise the output from those upcoming games.
Shane Blaney coming on there, the man from County Donegal. He scored for Sligo Rovers against Motherwell in the Europa Conference League qualifiers right at the start of this season. And he's on for the closing 5.5 of the 90 that are left. A Suter finds Goldson, and he rolls it to his left for Davis. In the Motherwell half, out to the touchline for Kent. Kent now driving down the left-hand side, faced by Tierney. Rolls it back to Kamara. Now Arfield with the dummy. He'd hoped it got through to Morelos. Blocked by Mugabe. He did give Motherwell hope when he brought it back to 2-2. It's a game Motherwell led for 20 minutes. Kevin Van Veen scoring his 18th of the season. It's Morelos, picks it up inside the box, checks onto the right foot and shoots. It's deflected, I think, off Mugabe and behind for the corner. Good defending by Bevis Mugabe.
And great pass through for John Suter to find Alfredo Morelos. Looked like he was going to shoot, coming in from the left-hand angle with his left, chops onto his right, and Mugabe got a good block on it.
Tavernier swings it in right-hand side. Kelly missed it there. He didn't miss it, he's just not managed to catch it, and it dropped from his fingertips down to the ground. Unfortunately for him, Alfredo Morelos couldn't mop it up in the follow-up, and it stays Motherwell 2, Rangers 4. But again, that's a nervy little moment for Liam Kelly, Tam, who's got his eye on the Scotland #1 shirt next week. How's that placed right now, do you think? Who's favourite? Is Angus Gunn, is it as simple as saying he's favourite, or does Zander Clark go in ahead of Liam Kelly because he's higher up the Premiership table than he is?
I've been trying to pay a close attention to what Steve Clark's been saying, and he's not given a lot away, so it looks to me as if he's a guy that'll have a plan in his mind, but he's keeping his cards close to his chest. So I think ultimately it's there to be fought for.
Who would you put in?
For me, I'm a big fan of Liam Kelly. I think international football, I think he's got the required attributes in terms of mentality. He can use the ball well with his feet, and he's someone that I think deserves his opportunity. He's a leader. He's regularly somebody that if you look at it from a statistical point of view, is a high-performing goalkeeper. So I would give him the opportunity. But then again, you look at somebody like Zander Clark, who has won silverware at St Johnstone, has went to Hearts and has taken on a really difficult opportunity replacing Craig Gordon, which ultimately is what you'd have to do at an international level as well, and recently become the captain of Hearts. So I would probably just opt for Liam Kelly on the basis that he's been in and around squads, he's been patient, but there's not a lot between two top quality goalkeepers and young Angus Gunn as well.
We knew this was going to be an issue at some point, and Craig Gordon's injury has brought it slightly forward. Tavernier plays it through to Tillman. 3 to play of the 90 here. 4-2 to Rangers. Tillman's clip ball's blocked, breaks back to Malik Tillman. Now with Suter, square ball for Jack, who will be in that Scotland squad. And the matches against Cyprus and Spain coming up as Kent plays it to Jack. Full coverage of those games on Sports Sound, highlights on Sports Scene, as Jack collects and plays it forward to Kamara, back to Jack, and then out to Kent wide on the left. Takes a touch, crosses in, it's a good one, and Morelos, you do better than head it high and wide, and it stays on 87.5. Motherwell 2, Rangers 4, but you're surely expecting Alfredo Morelos to bury that one.
Yeah, you've seen him bury that type of chance so many times over the last 5 seasons, Liam. It's good play for Rangers. Yeah, they're toying with Motherwell, they've got the extra man, they're keeping the ball, but they move it out wide to Ryan Kent, who's out there on the left, and he whips in a brilliant cross, just puts that and injects a little bit of pace into the movement. Wonderful cross, and Alfredo's right in between the two defenders, in at the front post area. He just gets too much on it, high and wide, doesn't really threaten the goal, but another good chance for Alfredo. He's had a couple of sniffs since he's came on, just not took advantage of them yet.
Tavernier back at the other end of the pitch, rolls it back into his own box for Goldson. We move towards the final 90 seconds of the 90 minutes. Plenty supporters heading for the exit door now.
I think some suitors come on as well. You've had a little bit of a glimpse into what Rangers might deploy in certain kind of moments in matches with his back three, and you can see him stepping forward. You've seen his range of pass. You see how comfortable he is actually stepping into midfield like just now. Here's
Kent inside the Motherwell box. He chops back onto the right, back to Jack at the edge of the area. He shoots, blocked by the head. There, just by Casey, I think it was, in the 6-yard line, and it's cleared. As Tillman plays it back to Jack, forward to Kent. Ryan Kent. And turns it back to his left for Jack, then out to the left-hand side for Tillman. Final minute of the 90. Here's Arfield inside the box. He shoots, it's blocked. Now it's with Tillman. It's hard work for the 10 men here. Tillman clips it back for Tavernier, who heads it over the bar, and he's annoyed as he slaps his thighs in frustration. Motherwell 2, Rangers 4. It will stay. Goal kick to Motherwell, and there will be 4 minutes. A minimum of 4 minutes added on in injury time at the end. Big chance that there, Kenny Miller, for your old teammate.
It was. Again, it's coming down that left side. This time it's Tillman who finds himself on the ball, and again showing great ability and awareness just to stand across up with his left foot to the back post. Alfredo goes in, it's just over Alfredo's head, but James Tavernier's at the back, and he's just trying to guide it back across the goal into Liam Kelly's far corner. He gets way too much on it, and it cleared the goal easily, high and wide, but a good chance for James Tavernier. I've seen him score a lot of goals coming in at the back post area for that right back position, but he just got that one wrong. He could have been on his 100 goals today, Liam.
Yeah, he's had a couple of chances. Spittle for Motherwell up the other end. His cross ball's cut out by Suter on the 18-yard line as the 4 minutes of injury time is confirmed by Greg Aitken's board down below us. Getting towards kick-off in the 3 o'clock games. Full coverage, Celtic Hibs here on BBC Radio Scotland. Open all mics, of course, will be an option as well, as is the Aberdeen Hearts game. bbc.co.uk/Sports Scotland. Aberdeen Hearts also covered as Kamara plays it across, and it takes a touch off Tierney and comes right through to Liam Kelly. Who's the Scotland #1 next week, Kenny? Then?
You know, I tend to agree with Tam a bit, to be honest. I think to bring Angus Gunnarsson, if he's that much better than Zander Clark and Liam Kelly, which, to be honest, I'm yet to see that he is, then I think it would be unfair for him to just jump straight into the squad ahead of Zander and Liam, because they have served their time. They've had some wonderful goalkeepers to kind of stay behind in David Marshall and Craig Gordon, and I think they deserve an opportunity to show that they can play at that level. And everything that Tam says about Liam, I know him really, really well. I had him at Livingston when I took over there for that short spell, and I've been with him at Rangers as a player for a number of years. He's a leader, he's a good character, he's a very, very good goalkeeper, both with his feet and shot stopping. Like Tam says, he's always up at the top of the charts in terms of how the goalkeepers are performing. So I would like to see him get a chance. He's at a good age as well, I think. He's the captain of this Motherwell team. He leads, again, not for the front, but he definitely leads this team. Big voice. I would like to see him get that opportunity, but I could fully understand if Zander Clark was given it, because he's served his apprenticeship and he's been a really strong performer at this level for a long, long time.
I have to say, I have a sneaky for Angus Gunn to start those games. I can see that happening. He's just been brought into the squad. It's certainly a bone of contention for the Tartan Army. We shall see. Full coverage, Scotland-Cyprus, Scotland-Spain, coming up in the international break. Starts next Saturday, 2 o'clock kick-off at Hampden. It's Arfield for Rangers here. This game's just petering out in the injury time. Rangers 4-2 up, 2 minutes of the injury time to play against 10-man Motherwell, as Kamara slips it out to the left for Ryan Kent, attacking the box. It's away from Tierney. Good play by Kent. Can Rangers finish with a flourish? Kent hits it over the bar from the angle of the 6-yard box, and it stays Motherwell 2, Rangers 4, with about 90 seconds of the injury time to play.
And it's a good win for Rangers. Obviously they've had to come back for going 1 goal down earlier, then they respond after Motherwell get back into it. And listen, all you can do when you're having these earlier kickoffs or a kick-off the day before is to apply a little bit of pressure. It's all you can do when you're Rangers at the moment. It's another win. It's 17 wins out of the 19 games that Michael's had. No drop points in the league. They can only do their bit, and then they can sit back and enjoy the games this afternoon and see if there's going to be any ground gained. But obviously the odds would be against that, but listen, their side of the job's been done.
The rain tumbling down just in time for the supporters to leave the stadium. There will be a throw-in for Motherwell wide in the right, midway inside the Rangers half. It's up towards man drawn. He can't find a teammate as he chested it down, passed it back the way And now Rangers have it back. And it's slipped out to this right-hand side for Tavernier. Goldson's gone away in a marauding run forward. Here's Suter. Finds Kamara to the left of the centre circle, out to the left-hand touchline. Final 30 seconds, overlapping is Tillman. Tillman rolls it back towards Arfield, and then Tavernier hits it with the outside of the boot, high into the stand. And it stays Motherwell 2, Rangers 4, and that looks like being the full-time scoreline. It's another chance for Tavernier.
Well, it's amazing how many opportunities he does get on the end of from a full-back. It just shows how, by the way, it shows the hunger to get in and how much he wants to get forward and participate in an attacking sense, but it shows you how fit and the energy that he's got to continually be doing it in the 93rd minute of the game. When your team's won 4-2, he could have been forgiven for letting his big centre-back partner on the right-hand side of the Rangers defence, Connor Goldson, go up, but he wants to get forward and get on the end of things.
55 games now since Motherwell beat Rangers in the league. The wait goes on, and James McFadden's record stands, the last man to score a league winner against Rangers on Boxing Day 2002. And that despite the fact Motherwell made the perfect start to this one. Kevin Van Veen scoring his 18th goal of the season inside the opening 3 minutes. Brilliant play down the right by Max Johnston, who put it on a plate really for Van Veen to make it 1-0, with James Tavernier equalising on 23 with a free kick. Trademark stuff from Tavernier, though Liam Kelly might be disappointed when he watches it back. Brilliant start to the second half by Rangers, and Fasin Sakala got his traditional goal against Motherwell in the opening minute of it. Tavernier whipping the ball in from the right. Sakala met it with a header, and he bulleted it past Kelly to put Rangers in front. Bevis Mugabe gave Motherwell hope, bringing them back to 2-2 just before the hour mark, just after coming on as a sub. But goals from Todd Cantwell in 63 and Malik Tillman in 69 ensured it would be Rangers who remain unbeaten in the Premiership under their manager Michael Beale. 8 away league wins in a row, and away fixtures are what cost them last season, and indeed this season will probably cost them their shot at the title. Callum Slattery was sent off with 14 to play, a second yellow card, but Motherwell will have to break their duck against Rangers in the league for the first time in over 20 years. The next time they face each other, might it be after the split? Can Motherwell make a late dash for the top 6? Odds against, but you never know. It is Rangers who reduce the gap at the top of the Premiership, back to 6 points ahead of Celtic meeting Hibernian in Glasgow. That game kicking off in little over half an hour. It finished here in North Lanarkshire at Fir Park. Motherwell 2, Rangers 4.
Football